EAGLES, Eagles.
And welcome in, everybody, to a Monday edition of Birds 365 here, kicking off week 3 of the Eagles off-season. The NFL championship games wrapped up last night. Hope everybody had a great weekend and survived the snowfall. Johnny Mac, how you doing on this Monday morning, my friend?
Trying to survive, man. Not good. Ice all over the place. So I hope everybody's good. That's in South Jersey, hopefully. You know, the ice makes it worse. You're chipping away. My wife's got to go to work. I gotta chip out her car three times. It's unbelievable. So
yeah,
awful.
No doubt. Some nasty stuff out there. Definitely got icy and sleet. You know, we had all sorts of stuff coming down, Johnny Mac. But J Mac, before we get into the Eagles, we'll get all the updates on that. The NFL Conference Championship games wrapped up. The Seattle Seahawks will represent the NFC in the Super Bowl, and the New England Patriots will represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. John, your first thoughts, the championship game weekend.
I'm taking apologies. I'm taking those Sam Darnold.
Yeah, apologies. You can take them. You can take them, J-Mac.
We'll never make the Super Bowl. Can't play well in the big game. Now, this is no longer a big game. He's still got to play well in the Super Bowl because those cretins will come up from wherever they come, the underworld. Oh, he can't play in a big game. Like the NFC Championship game isn't a big game. But, yeah, that on a personal level, I'm happy for Sam because so many people have shit on him. And the guy can obviously play. Can we all just agree at that? And then I'll move on.
Yeah.
Can we all just agree with that? 14 wins back-to-back seasons. Now he's in the Super Bowl. And obviously not by himself. Tremendous teams. Last year, Minnesota was very good. This year, Seattle was very good. That's part of it. That's not an insult to Jalen Hurts. It's not an insult to Sam Darnold. You need a supporting cast to win in this league. But this dumb mindset of so-and-so, insert name, can't make a Super Bowl. Yes, they can. They might need more help than Patrick Mahomes. But yes, they can. As we've seen time and time again over the years. But people still buy into that bullshit. It bothers me. Plus, all the snow shoveling bothers me. So I'm cranky waking up this morning. But beyond that, and obviously, interesting Patriots Broncos game from the perspective of the dome people. Like everybody wants things in a dome. So you have a group of that's football, but that second half, just by circumstance, it was just impossible to move the football. Would have been interesting to see what happened if Bo Nix was in there. Jarrett Stidham had a nice throw early, predictably turned into Jarrett Stidham. You know, the craziness, and everybody will be on the Drake May bandwagon for the opposite reason, because he's in the Super Bowl in the second season. Quietly, he has not played well in the playoffs.
No, he hasn't. Yeah.
Now, again, nobody was going to play well in what was going on in the second half. But he has not played well. And they have persevered and made it back to the Super Bowl with a new group and Mike Vrabel. Good story there. Rematch of the famous Malcolm Butler game.
Yeah.
Should be a good game. I do think the Seahawks are the better team, so they should finish it off. But long way to go to the Super Bowl. And that Seahawks-Rams game made up. That was a really good game. And I thought Reek Woolen was going to blow it for Seattle. That might be the dumbest play in NFL history. 4th and 12, going over to the bench and taunting right in front of the bench, going down. And one of them was, I don't know if you watched it, but one of them was Matthew Stafford. They get the personal foul call. And I know people don't like the rule, but that's the definition of taunting. That's in there. You can't sit in front of the opposing bench. And he's chirping at Matthew Stafford. And the next play, Stafford goes right at him. Puka Nacua touchdown. So that was a great back and forth game, entertaining. And the other one marred by weather, which some people think is good, some people think is bad, but that second half, you really didn't get to see a true accounting. It was just, all right, who can punt best and who can make a field goal. By the way, don't underestimate the punting of Seattle as well. Michael Dixon, tremendous.
No doubt. John, good games, man. Super Bowl set. It's going to be exciting to see. It's never as exciting to the area, obviously, when you got two, you got the Patriots and you got the Seahawks. But it should be a great game. Two good teams, and I think your takeaways were all pretty good. John, let's get into Eagles updates. We'll talk a little bit more about that game with Jeff, or those games with Jeff Kerr as well. Eagles OC search continues, John. They get blocked out by the Cowboys for a potential candidate. They requested to interview Clayton Adams per Jeremy Fowler, and the Cowboys blocked that. That's the Cowboys offensive coordinator. So they get blocked. They lost part of Dallas last week, which we knew. And now Clint Hurt is also interviewing in Miami. So some potential updates there, and maybe another loss to the Eagles team. John, what's the latest on this Eagles coaching carousel right now going on?
Yeah, I think it's turned into a sort of I described it as a dual purpose. Obviously, you're looking for another offensive coordinator, but you're also on a fact-finding mission to figure out, and that's been the Eagles' history with Jeffrey Lurie. You want to be ahead of the game. You want to talk to a bunch of people, what the rest of the league is doing offensively, what they think, where they think things are trending. So you're talking to a bunch of names that I think too often people conflate interview with offer or interest even. Sometimes you just want to talk to somebody and you take advantage of the situation. And I think that's what's going on with the Eagles. I do think it'll clear up a little this week, and we'll see which way they go. The two guys I think legitimate interest were Mike McDaniel, and Brian Daboll. And after that, I'd be very careful. Like when Bobby Slowick goes back to Miami, he gets the offensive coordinator job. I think people are, you turned down the Eagles. I don't think he turned down the Eagles. So you got to be very careful with that. Interview doesn't mean offer. Interview doesn't even necessarily mean significant interest. But eventually they're going to have to, get on the pot and actually take the what.
Right.
And you can't talk forever. And, right now I don't think anybody will be happy with Matt Nagy or Josh Grizzard or Mike Kafka or Jim Bob Cooter, especially the ones that have a history with the Eagles. We still haven't heard anything that I know of with Cliff Kingsbury, which surprises me. He's still out there. Some rumblings about him. Could be a curveball because they keep this stuff very close to the vest. But, what do we, who declares winners and losers in offensive coordinator searches? I don't know why they were so excited about Mike McDaniel. I don't know. Okay. All right. I'm not saying he couldn't be good, but I mean, why is he better than everyone else? I can't really tell you.
It's a fair question at this point, John. John, you mentioned the loss of Christian Parker. We talked about the loss of Christian Parker. John, now 2 NFC East teams have former Eagle defensive coaches as their defensive coordinator. The New York Football Giants on John Harbaugh's staff hired Darnold Wilson to be their defensive coordinator. What's your reaction to that, John? You got 2 of them now in the NFC East. And Darnold Wilson, I don't know if he's got, I don't want to call it bad blood, but I don't know if it didn't end here the way he wanted it to end. But he's been hired by the New York Giants to be the defensive coordinator, J-Mac.
Yeah, well, it definitely didn't end, the way he wanted to end here. He wanted to be elevated when Jonathan Gannon left, and they went in a different direction, obviously. And he actually took a, lesser job, perhaps. He was the secondary coach here, but he was also the passing game coordinator. So essentially he had Christian Parker's job here, and he seemed like the next in line if somebody were to leave, and he didn't get the job. So he went to Baltimore to be the secondary coach there. So then he ultimately did become a defensive coordinator. Tennessee, and now will join John Harbaugh again with the New York Giants. But a little surprised because there were some high-profile former Baltimore DCs available, most notably Anthony Weaver, who was, had gone on to bigger things. I thought maybe he would get that job, but I don't think it has to do with the Eagles other than a lot of people saying, can you get, not a lot, but a couple fans asked me, can you get Denard Wilson back as the secondary coach when they lost Christian Parker? And I was like, A, different regime. B, I think they like Joe Casper in the building. We'll see how that works. But the most important, I don't think Denard, maybe there is a little angst about getting passed over. So I don't think this would have been his first choice, certainly for a position coach job. And he ended up getting a DC job. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, good for him, man. Good for Denard Wilson. But that Eagle coaching tree is starting to expand throughout the league even more. So it's interesting. Good stuff for the Eagles and Denard Wilson, or the Giants and Denard Wilson. Got Christian Parker in Dallas as well. John, where are we, man, with the OC? I know you just gave kind of the update. So who do you think the top couple candidates are right now? I know it's tough to get a gauge, but do the big names remain the same in that they're Jim Bob Cooter, Matt Nagy, and Brian Dable? Is that who we're looking at? Where that's left? I mean, who do you think the candidate?
Yeah, now there seems to be some that Dable
out of the box candidate. The Eagles love to do that, especially with head coaches. I don't know if they'll do it with the OC.
Well, I mean, there's some talk that Dable's back in the mix, so maybe things aren't unfolding the way he had hoped. So you never know. I think he would be the clear leader if he's willing to consider it. I don't think there's any doubt. From there, it's I don't know all the. I've gotten a lot of you can't hire Matt Nagy. I'm like, I mean, to me, that's the guy who's got the experience outside of Dayball, who's got the experience. He's done it for a long time, done it at a high level, learned under somebody the Eagles obviously respect. I don't know. To me, he would make more sense than the Josh Grizzards of the world. And secondaries in that same category, but a little less, would be Kafka for the same reasons. And Jim Bob, I haven't really considered simply because of his history with Nick Sirianni. I don't know if you can sell that to the fan base. I said it the minute his name popped up. I go, it's not fair. It's completely unfair. But, I mean, it's part of this industry. You have to be realistic about it. I don't know how they sell that higher.
Well, what history? I mean, just for people that don't know, what are you exactly talking about? Just that he worked with Nick, so people will think it's another Nick Sirianni hire?
Yeah, and he was here, and he was here in 2021. In Nick's first season, he was a consultant. And he worked with him in the past. Yeah, just that'll be labeled a Nick Sirianni guy. That's it. Nothing more. Nothing terrible. Nothing wrong whatsoever. It's completely unfair, but I think it's going to be a tough sell. So, and that matters, unfortunately. So that's why I haven't considered him as much as some other people. Now, there's talk that they also spoke with Arthur Smith now, who's going back to college at Ohio State. So he would be another, not going back to college, but going to a very high level college program, obviously. But no NFL offense coordinator wants to go back to college, especially a long time one and a former head coach like Arthur Smith. No way anybody convinced me of that. So, yeah, I just don't think he had any offers, and that includes the Eagles. So, that's why I think that went the way it went. Obviously, Slowick, we mentioned. Zach Robinson is the one who's going to Tampa Bay. Obviously, Dayball would want the Bills' head coaching job, and there's some little talk about the Raiders, but the Raiders seem to be going a different direction. And then the talk had been he'd go with the Titans for the offensive coordinator job over the role in the Eagles. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that isn't the case. Maybe he'll change his mind. That would be the guy I think the Eagles would hire if he'd come here. And you'll have some of the same issues, but they're willing to take them on, I think, with Brian Daboll, because he's not that he was here in the past, but he was actually one of Nick's mentors. So sort of not quite Frank Reich, but sort of in that same mold. So that, but I think the Eagles really like him. Again, for whatever reason, he's got a history with Jalen. I think from the start I've said nobody checks more boxes of what they're perceived to be looking at than Brian Daboll. He's got experience not only as a
we seem to be his backup option. If nothing else works for him and he doesn't get the other jobs.
Yeah, which is fine. Yeah. Which is fine, by the way. I mean, that happens, and sometimes it works. You know, usually the Eagles have had a lot of success with these long searches, not getting the guys they target. You know, whether you go back to the more high-profile ones, if you want to go back to Doug Peterson, they wanted to talk to Adam. They did talk to Adam Gase first. He just had so many outrageous demands. They were like, "All right, we like you, but see you," and that worked out, to say the least. Not a good head coach. Then they'd agreed to a deal with Ben McAdoo, and the Giants
funny to think about that, how that played out that year.
Yeah. And they end up, so they have to wait, and they pick up the phone and go, "Hey, Eddie, what should we do?" And he said, "Yeah, Doug's ready." And, they set him up with Jim Schwartz, which was a good marriage for a defensive coordinator, and rest is history. And then Nick, remember, they were very late to the process because Jeffrey took so long to fire Doug, because there was that back and forth of what he would do. You know, he had to sort of sell his plan of moving forward. You know, he wanted Press Taylor to be the offensive coordinator. He wanted Matt Burke or Corey Unlin to be the defensive coordinator. Matt Burke is doing a pretty good job in Houston, by the way. He's the defensive coordinator.
Hell yeah, he is really good.
And that wasn't
the best defense in football this year, that defense.
Yeah. And that wasn't good enough. And they fired him. And then they wanted the funny that the three hot candidates that year were Arthur Smith, Robert Saleh, and Brandon Staley. Those were the hot candidates. Those were the guys everybody wanted to talk to. The Eagles wanted to talk to him too. I believe they ended up talking to Arthur Smith and Robert Saleh. I know they talked to Robert. Staley did not talk to them. All three were already well ahead with their getting their jobs. Smith got the Falcons job. Saleh got the Jets job. Staley got the Chargers job. Everybody had known by the time the Eagles got into it, that's where they were going to end up. So it was really just a sort of, professional courtesy to speak with them to begin with. And then, so they weren't involved with the three hot candidates, and they had to keep going, interviewing. Back then it was the head coach. So we talk about really playing death sentence. They were doing it from Palm Beach. They were doing it from Jeffrey's house down there. They wouldn't even interview the guys in Philadelphia. And, they got very close with Josh McDaniels, and probably decided, this is not going to be able to coexist. And all of a sudden, Nick Sirianni shows up, and he was on family vacation in Florida, and I believe didn't have a suit was the story, and showed up and wowed everybody. And the rest is history.
Some of these goofy NFL stories, man, they're funny. All right, John, well, we'll see, man. We'll see where they end up going with all of this. I think there's a couple names still out there. Joe Brady, will they interview him? Who knows? I'm sure we'll learn more John, do you have a deadline for me on when you think this saga will end, the 3-week-long offensive coordinator search for the Eagles? Will it come to an end by Wednesday? By Friday? What are we thinking?
I do think it's going to end this week.
Me too. I feel like it's got to.
I don't think it has to, but a lot of people make the Senior Bowl is coming. Like, who cares? They don't have to be at the Senior Bowl, but a lot of people make a big deal about that. Oh, he's got to be at the Senior Bowl. Really? Does he?
Yeah, it seems to me that nobody wants this damn job.
Yeah, I don't think
that might not be it, but that's what it seems. And what it seems isn't always right.
I don't think that's I don't think that's the case. I think I made it very clear that people with options seem to not want this job.
Well, think about it. It's high risk, high reward. I mean, you hear that report. If anybody's paying attention who's a candidate, you read the report. Sirianni almost got fired at week 4 last year. They're probably like, boy, I could get blown out of there in a year, by no fault of my own, basically.
Well, yeah, that's part of it. I wouldn't, it's all, like I said, everybody's got their fingerprints. Their lack of patience is certainly part of it. Again, I've said it pretty consistently. When we argue list season coming up, it's going to be coming up soon. And, everybody's worried about the list and this and that. And people wonder why so-and-so's ranked higher than Jalen Herz, even though they haven't performed or had the similar success. And I explained, and I'm talking about the coaches and the executive ones, not the bullshit, just somebody throwing out my 10 best quarterbacks. I'm talking about the Sando ones, the Fowler ones, who actually interview coaches and executives. And I said, you have to understand, not a lot of people want to play this style of offense. So if you're talking to a coach or an executive who doesn't want to play this style of offense, why are they going to say, well, I'll take you? They're saying, boy, I'd love to have Justin Herbert or somebody like that for my team. That's the way they think about it. So I think a lot of teams in this league don't want to play the style of offense that's been going on in Philadelphia. And then that's part of it. And then you talk about, well, why did they play that offense? Did they play that offense because of Nick Sirianni and his obsession with ball security and taking it too far? Or do they play that style of offense because they think the quarterback is limited? These are all questions that other outside coordinators would have. And I think guys with options like McDaniel and Daboll, maybe not so much Daboll anymore, so limit it to McDaniel. Well, he's not gonna
his agent. Bills or Titans, and now he's like, oh shit, if I don't get one of those two jobs, I better keep the relationship with the Eagles on good terms. We'll see.
And, because McDaniel's Adam Gase at the offensive coordinators right now. He's got 5, 6, 7 options. Well, he's not gonna choose one with so much uncertainty.
Yeah, I don't blame him. All right, we got a couple supers, then we're going to get to Jeff Kerr coming up. Here's Philip. Wouldn't hiring an OC that wants their staff, schemes, etc., mean we'd have to demote Jeff from run game coordinator? I don't think they'd do that, right?
It depends how much. If they got Mike McDaniel, I could see it, but no, nobody else. Maybe Kingsbury, if they can read. You've heard hide nor hair of Kingsbury, and that surprises me.
Yeah, well, that's because he didn't like the. Well, remember what he wanted last time he interviewed here. He's probably
that's the thing. Maybe they would revisit it. They would never fire.
Will he revisit it? That's the question.
Well, maybe not. They would never fire Jeff Stoutland. He might quietly retire if they want to go in a different direction and acquiesce to the demands of an offensive coordinator, and then show up in Alabama 3 weeks later, one of those Jim Schwartz retirements. They would never fire him, though. Never.
There's no limit. Hey, John, that was 2 real play callers yesterday. Receivers running wide open the whole game because of scheme, not that garbage Patullo was giving us.
Well, the two best play callers maybe in football were in the other game. What happened in that one? Sean Payton and Josh McDaniels? Where were the concepts, people? Why can't they scheme stuff open? Why can't forget about the snow? Before the snow started, why can't Sean Payton just elevate Jarrett Stidham with his tremendous concepts? Why?
Players first, baby.
Why can't Josh McDaniels, who might be the best of them all, not as a head coach, but as a play caller, why is Drake May playing the way Drake May's playing? The MVP candidate.
Philip, I don't know if you're being dense or you're not picking up. I think that's what John is saying. Basically that plus players. All right. Good stuff.
Shocking. There's a
dense
aspect to it.
Sometimes you got over.
I'm trying to get you to think.
I know.
Think about what you're saying.
Remember,
Kyle Shanahan had how many points in Seattle? 6. And then Sean McVay got some points.
Him Bison says, remember, nobody wanted the head coaching job then either. It was a cesspool of dysfunction.
I think cesspool of dysfunction is a little overrated, but I don't recall saying anybody didn't want the Eagles head coaching job. That's absurd. There's only the head coaching jobs. I mean, again, the timing of the Sirianni year was that they were so late, they weren't involved with the hot candidates, and you should be glad they weren't involved in the hot candidates because none of them turned out to be anything. Robert Saleh will get a second opportunity already. And then if you go back to Doug's year, what they would have hired Adam Gase. They didn't want to acquiesce to his demands. They did agree to hire Ben McAdoo. And you should be thankful that the New York Giants said, whoa, we're gonna bring you back. You should be very thankful.
One more, then we got Jeff Kerr coming up. Too Nice says, I can definitely get behind hiring Jim Bob. He and Shane did a great job with Daniel Jones. He also seems like an extension of Shane. Perfect drop scheme that Hertz ran with a lot of success.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're open-minded about Jim Bob. I think Jim Bob would be a tough sell, but I don't think that for any fair reasons. I just think, again, there is.
What's the better slogan, John? Cooter Hertz or Hertz Cooter? On the T-shirt.
Depends how immature you are, which way you want to go.
Exactly right. It depends how immature you are is a good way to put it. All right, Too Nice. Thanks for the super. Appreciate everybody for being here this morning. Let's go to Jeff Kerr. Has joined us right here on Birds 365. Let's bring him in right now. Jeff, welcome into the show. Jeff, you got about 4 days left before you start to get absolutely shredded for having the Christmas tree up. But we appreciate you being here today, my man. How you doing on this Monday morning?
By the way, I just got mine down. I was really late, too. I just got mine down on Saturday.
I can't blame you, Jeff. Believe me, I can't blame you.
You know what's funny, guys? So, funny story with the Christmas tree. I was going to take it down when we had the snow. What was it, last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever? And my sister and my nephew were over, and my nephew's only like 4 months old, right? But he likes to train under the tree. And she's like, well, Mikey likes to train. I'm like, well, I guess Mikey's going to keep the Christmas tree.
That's the perfect excuse, John, to have your tree.
It really is. Like I always say I want to take it down by conference championship weekend. I'm like, John, and it's not down yet.
Yeah, I finally got it. Well, I just got it the day before, so I just got it down. Yeah, but we have a ton of ornaments. My wife goes overboard with the ornaments. You can't even see the tree. There's so many ornaments on this.
That's how I am. I got a bunch of Disney stuff on here, and a lot of it's not even like Christmas related. So I'm like, hey, you know what? I'll keep them up as long as I can. I spend money on them.
There you go, Jeff. I like it.
But it's I get to a point where, because it's a seasonal thing, so you're like excited at the beginning of it, and then at the end it's like I got to get out. I got to get out of this thing, and that's sort of the circumstance for me now. I guess we'll start with the championship games before we get to the OC search, which is turning into just a who will take this job mentality, even though I don't think that's the way it's going. But from the championship games, obviously early on, it was nice in Denver, and then all of a sudden it turns into a blizzard. So a lot of people say you got to have domes, Jeff. Where are you on that circuit? You got, and then it turns into that game. A lot of people like it, but I mean, you're not getting an accounting. That second half is among the worst conditions I've ever seen.
I felt it kind of felt like the Fog Bowl in the sense, like back in 1988, whoever had the lead when the weather came was going to win that game, and everybody's crucifying Sean Payton for not kicking it in the second quarter, which kind of thought he should have to take a 10-0 lead, but that's in hindsight, right? And I don't blame him for wanting. Basically, oh yeah, we had a chance to go 14-0, and then I like the original play I called, and we changed it, and it didn't work. But see, look, I think football should be playing all elements: rain, snow, sleet, hail, wind, whatever. It's part of the game, and I just don't like that whole. It's unfair to determine a Super Bowl recipient because of the snow. Well, why not? Like we play great football games in the snow. I know everybody likes to see glorified arena football, but like to me, I enjoy
like
that.
offense, because the next game was all offense.
Yeah, that was a great game.
Where you said, and everybody likes offense. Everybody just likes offense. And I got news for you. For most of the NFL, there wasn't a lot of offense this year. It was a bad year for the offenses in this league.
It was a bad year for quarterbacks too. By the way, isn't the Super Bowl the matchup? Aren't the Seahawks and the Patriots two of the top 5 defenses?
Yeah, very good defenses. Well, I always laugh because I'm a Sam Darnold guy, and I took my spiking of the football, and the guy's done what he's done. I respect his ability to bounce back from early troubles and develop into a guy who can win 14 games 2 consecutive years. Now he's in the Super Bowl, and you'll still hear, Jeff. You will still hear up until he wins the thing, if he wins the thing. Well, he only got there because of his defense. He only got. Can you name one quarterback who's gotten the Super Bowl with a bad supporting cast? Because I can't. That is the dumbest argument in the world.
I hate that when they rip on Trent Dilfer too. Like Trent Dilfer replaced Tony Banks in the middle of that season, but people don't want to remember that or just don't follow the history of the game. Tony Banks was god awful, and they wanted a guy to stabilize that offense because they knew how good that defense was. And Dilfer did that. And oh, by the way, Dilfer had a pretty solid Super Bowl, if I recall, when Baltimore kicked the crap out of the Giants. So yeah, it's a team effort. And look, Sam Darnold balled out yesterday. It wasn't like Sam Darnold Drake May has had a team carry him.
Yeah, Drake May's been bad in the playoffs. Flat out really bad.
He only had 86 yards yesterday.
Well, I mean, part of that
is the
second half. It was interesting. You mentioned Peyton not going for it. Obviously, that's people complaining about results, but whatever. Early on, I wasn't paying tremendous attention to the Denver weather, but they had mentioned throughout the broadcast that it was, well, there's going to be some flurries in the second half. That's it. That's what was expected. So I think a lot of people are looking at Sean Payton like, what was coming. Why didn't you take the points? Yeah. That wasn't supposed to come.
Yeah, my buddy's a producer for the A-Team on CBS, and he works with Tracy Wolfson every week. And Evan Washburn was on the other sideline. He gets a text from Washburn during the game. He goes, "I don't have a hat. That was not supposed to happen."
Yeah.
What happened yesterday?
I don't know how weird that is for Denver. I don't have a lot. I've been there a number of times, but I don't have. Obviously, it snows there a lot. But that seemed to surprise everybody. not just the teams. And you saw the slipping right away when it started in the field. It got really bad really quickly. And yeah, at that point it became the team with the and I thought Vrabel played it well. He didn't try anything. He was like, all right, we're gonna go win this game with defense. And it worked. So he deserves credit for that.
Yeah, we got the lead. If they kick a field goal to tie it, they tie it. But for you Dome fans, Denver's one of the teams that they're getting a dome next decade.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be few and far between. Then you had the angsty Eagles fans who are like, nobody's winning that type of game here because of the weather that was going on here.
Man, I got a story for you. A lot of you Eagles fans on this channel know this. I remember no one was supposed to beat the Eagles in the last game at the Vet Eater under 40 degrees, and they got shellacked.
Yeah.
So,
but beyond and you know what would have happened here? They would have canceled the game and played it on Tuesday. So that's
that was my pet peeve yesterday, John. All these people taking pictures of the snow and in Philly and this and this. I'm like, yeah, did you have to shovel it? Because I did. I'm pretty sure you guys did.
Man, don't even get me started. I had to get we had a lot of ice down here.
We did too.
South Jersey after the snow, and that makes it 10 times worse because so the first one wasn't that bad. I got pretty significant snow, but I shoveled that. And then the ice came and it was over. It was just so much worse than snow.
So I went out at 11 and there was probably about 8 or 9 on the ground. We ended up getting a foot. And that was easy. And then I went out around 6 o'clock with my dog last night. My dog likes to chase me and run around in the snow, and it's just ice. And it took like double the time just to get rid of the ice. I'm glad it's gone, but that was pain.
It's brutal. When it goes snow, ice, after, and then it gets real cold overnight. It's impossible to shovel. That's what's happened.
I was hoping for 2 feet with no ice.
Yeah, exactly. I'd rather have that.
Yeah, but
I don't want that either. But I'd rather if I had the choice, I'd take the pure snow.
No doubt. All right, Jeff. If you were the Eagles right now, who'd you be hiring as the OC? Jim Bob Cooter?
I'm probably more on board with Jim Bob Cooter than a lot of other people are.
Jim Bob.
It is what it is. I think it's I recognize that this job is not going to be for the people who, have autonomy or want autonomy or maybe still have pedigree. You're looking for somebody that's willing to fit into the Eagles system, which is interesting compared to other places.
Yeah, and look, there are a couple names they've interviewed I like Declan Doyle. I think he would be.
I forgot to mention Declan. Yeah, he's my guy. I should have mentioned.
Yeah, he's very intriguing. That's one of those outside the box hires. You're like, okay, I could see him wanting to come here and getting a chance to call plays. And if it's Nick's offense or not, I think if you're bringing in a guy like Declan Doyle, you're wanting to hear what he's learned over the years. So I kind of would like that. I think Davis Webb's going to get head coaching opportunities. So I kind of think he's out. He'll probably get the Raiders job. That's what I'm assuming. Joe Brady, I like, but I think he's going to be a head coach somewhere. There's still a head coaching job opening. They've interviewed Nate Shieldhouse a couple years ago. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Look, there are names I like. Just because Mike McDaniel and whoever.
Why was Mike McDaniel the be all end all? What am I missing?
Because he's like the anti whatever they do on offense. I think
no, not just here though. The guys that like options all over the place. Like, why did everybody in this league? Is it just he's a Shanahan guy? Is it just that?
Yeah, I think it is. But Shanahan guys, I mentioned this on X today because I clicked the For You tab. There was not enough conversation about how Sean McVay poorly managed that game yesterday.
Well, he manages every game poorly. Whether that's the prior week, it was god awful. He's trying to hand the game to Chicago. Trying to hand it to them.
I got a text from my dad yesterday watching the game, and he goes, "Why do people get so up in arms over how Nick Sirianni acts on the sidelines or how Brian Dable acts on the sidelines, but Sean McVay's acting like he's a 5-year-old every time someone scores, like a coach does, and it's okay." And I said, because he's boy wonder and no one else is.
Well, I don't have a problem with emotion, but
no, I don't either.
I didn't even since that game. Like Chicago, I thought was an abject disaster from both of them as far as game management went. Ben Johnson and Sean McVay. I thought it was an abject disaster. I didn't think it was terrible in this Seattle game. What is everybody complaining about from a game management standpoint?
The whole when it was 31-26, he kicked. He didn't go for two.
Oh,
Yeah, the fourth down, and that led to the fourth down decision later. If he kicks, maybe he gets the ball back. He didn't he didn't get the ball back until the very end.
Results. I should know better. Yeah. So
it's all results. I thought at the time.
I thought the worst part, and I blame this on Matthew Stafford as well, and I rarely, because I think Matthew Stafford played unbelievably. I thought he was amazing. I thought he was even better than Darnold. Phenomenal game. But in that situation, they're moving the ball. And what was it? 4th and 4, maybe? Fourth and
4.
4th and 4. But he went even on the third down. So it was 3rd and 4. And they tried to pick on Witherspoon.
Yeah, that was
what
awkward.
What are you doing? And then 4th and 4, they go after Witherspoon again. And he's all over Ferguson. That was Ferguson.
Yeah, it was Ferguson.
You got one of the best cornerbacks in the game matched up on a tight. That's
the Rams were 1 of 8 on 3rd down yesterday.
Yeah,
Stafford did not throw well on 3rd down here, which was kind of shocking. But again, I think that's more a scheme than it is him.
Well, they kind of. It's always surprising when the Rams struggle on 3rd down because of Puka. You kind of have the ultimate get out of jail free card, but yeah, I mean, in certain situations, but I got to blame that. And look, nobody wants to blame Sean McVay more than me because nothing. I just think he's so overrated by others. Not that he's a bad coach. I say all the time. But I think he's overrated. People act like he's a bad game manager. He's consistently bad game manager. But he is a good offensive coach, and that's all people care about. But in that instance, look, on 4th and 4 in that situation, you got to give somebody a chance. You can't give the tight end the chance on Witherspoon. Somebody else has got to get that football.
And you have Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams on your team. Kyren Williams is on your team.
Exactly. So I got to blame that on the quarterback.
By the way, what ended the Rams season was special teams. Again, their special teams has been bad all year. They changed coordinators. And by the way, they had a good special teams coach. It's not his fault players can't make plays.
By the way, boy, that was so bad. You start to think about, she's shaving some points there. Boy, what is he doing? Just falling to the ground.
I don't get what anything Xavier Smith is doing. Then people are questioning McVay. Why is Kyren Williams back there? I'm like, because he's just going to catch the football and not fumble it.
Yeah, maybe should have went to that in week 10 or whatever. They've had so many issues, but and then Rick Woolen. I thought Rick.
Oh wow,
that is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen on a football field in my life.
Yeah, I had problems with taunting overall, but man, did he ask for it? You're taunting coaches. First off, you never taunt a coach, never. So
he was taunting Matthew Stafford. Matthew went right after him when he got the penalty touchdown.
Yeah, and the coach wasn't even saying anything to him.
Yeah, that was just.
Rick Woolen almost cost them a Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah, he did. But that was what it's interesting because again, fans are like, well, Sean McVay scheming people open, not on 4th and 4. One of the Kubiaks, I get them mixed up, is scheming people open.
Clint.
Yeah, right.
There's so many damn Kubiaks.
So here's a funny Mike McDonald story for you guys, by the way. So the owners' meetings were in Orlando, 2 years ago? It was Mike McDonald's first year. He just got hired. I'm in line at Tower of Terror at Hollywood Studios before the meaning
You're a big roller coaster guy, aren't you?
I am. And so there's this guy in front of me, and I'm like, why does that guy look so familiar? And I'm talking to him. It's Mike McDonald. I said, oh, Coach McDonald. I never like calling them coach because they're not my coach, but it just popped up. And he's like, no one knows who I am, right? I'm like, well, congrats on the Seahawks job.
Wow.
And
Cool.
It's interesting. I don't think too many people still know who Mike McDonald is.
probably not. I was just like, he looks so familiar. And I'm just talking about Tower of Terror. I said, I haven't been on this ride since I was 7, because that was the last time I was at Disney World till the time. And I said, I hope I don't get the 1 drop. And we're talking about 1 drop, 2 drops. So that's my Mike McDonald story.
Well, people are about to know him if they don't know him already. He's about to get the full
They
Super
play
Bowl.
that well defensively. They were getting gashed.
Yeah, they did. That's true.
That guy won 10 games with Geno Smith last year. I don't know how he did it.
Rams had 479 total net yards.
I'm going to make an early prediction for the Super Bowl. Ready? We got 2 weeks till that game.
Yeah, go ahead, make it.
Sam Darnold will be the Super Bowl MVP.
That's not bold, but it's early.
You got a 50% chance.
I'm just saying it'll be fitting because, how many times have you heard that Jalen Herz is a top 3 quarterback because he got a Super Bowl MVP? So all those same people get ready to defend Sam Darnold, who will be in that same category. That's my early prediction.
I really do like this Patriots team, but Seattle's just in another league.
Yeah,
I expect Seattle to win.
Much better team. I will be giving New England a ton of credit. They find a way to win that game because I think Drake's
going to have to play better. I mean, he can't play like
he's got to play much better. And the problem is Seattle's coming off a bad defensive performance. They did not play well defensively. Yeah. And they typically their whole thing is not giving up explosive plays. They were giving up explosive plays all over the place.
Well, that's how I'm thinking. Play the Rams too.
Yeah, I mean that's part of it. But obviously, they're going to be hyper focused on, and that's all New England does really. They're deep shot or bust. So they're going to be very cognizant of taking away those deep shots for Drake May, who has not played well. And boy, I mean, yeah, I give him a pass in the second half because of how bad it was. Nobody was going to play well in that, but he's been a fumbling machine even before that.
Yeah, so Patriots just scored 54 points in 3 playoff games. I think it's the lowest total going into a Super Bowl all time.
Well, the Eagles scored in the championship game last year, 55.
55.
55.
It's kind of nuts, like how good. Honestly, the Eagles, Seattle feels like how the Eagles were last year. Although Seattle probably they were definitely more battle tested in the NFC Championship game. I mean, to beat the best, you got to beat the best. And where the Rams were the best is up for debate because I've still said they were only 7-5 against teams with winning records this year. But
I get the feel of New England's more like Washington if Washington beat the Eagles, which wasn't even close. But
yeah,
they're not. They shouldn't be in this spot. They earned it, but they're not.
They definitely earned it. I mean, John, who did you initially think was coming out of the AFC when this whole thing started?
Well, I picked Baltimore originally.
Well, yeah, we all did. But I mean, when the playoffs started.
When the playoffs started?
AFC. I don't know. Denver, John? I forget.
No, I didn't pick Denver. I forget who I picked. I think I picked Houston.
I picked Houston. Houston was my pick.
Houston.
Yeah, well, I don't think CJ Stroud is. They should move on from him. No,
I was riding that defense as long as they would go.
That's a championship defense. And
I mean, CJ Stroud played. Not that I'm a CJ Stroud guy, but he played so poorly. Nobody could project that. I mean, he was. I can't even explain how poorly he played.
I thought it was going to be Seahawks Texans. I didn't think anybody was going to go into Seattle and beat them. And
yeah, I picked the Rams. I picked the Rams and the Texans. I thought the Rams had the best team all year. The most well-rounded team, as you pointed out. They had, they have flaws, but I think that showed yesterday. They moved the football better than anybody on Seattle. Again, 479 479 total yards. They moved the football at will. Even when they were down, they scored so quickly to get back in the game.
8.3 yards per play, John.
Yeah, they were gashing Seattle. And Sam just hung in there. He kept up with it. So you got to give him credit. But yeah, I mean, these Zander knows. I hate it goes incrementally up. I hate screenshot scouting. I hate one play scouting. I hate one game scouting. All these people, well, they did this in this game, so they're this. You know, like that goofball earlier in the show. Well, Seattle and the Rams can scheme people open. Why can't the Eagles scheme people open? On the same day, you got a defensive battle between Josh McDaniels and Sean Payton, maybe the two best play callers of over a 15-year period. Boy, I don't get it. I'll never get it, Jeff. I'll never get it.
Hey, John, speaking of the Patriots, where does this Patriots turn around? Is this up there with like the 99 Rams, the 01 Patriots, the 21 Bengals? Like, do you feel like they're in that stratosphere just based on how bad they were last year, even though they changed?
Well, they definitely it was an incredible one season turnaround. I don't know if they're going to be consistently good moving forward because I'm not completely sold on the quarterback after the way he's played in the playoffs. I mean, I think people are going to hone in at. And remember how easy New England's schedule was. Now they're playing the first place schedule. So now it's going to be ramped up from a week to week environment for them. I expect them to take a step back next year. The question is, do they step back to being 7-10, or do they step back to being 10 wins and a playoff team? Where are you? But I'm very concerned about the way Drake May played in the playoffs.
And look, I don't think the Bills are going anywhere, even though, and again, look, they fired Sean McDermott. We were on the show last week, and as dysfunctional as they look right now, they're still going to be a good football team next year.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're going to win a certain amount of games because they have the best quarterback. But boy, I do think Sean McVay looks better every day by the way they act without him. I'll say that.
McDermott, yeah. I don't.
Terry Pagula should just go back and stop talking. And
poor Keon Coleman.
Yeah, I know, taking strays.
He's on your team.
And Brandon Beane should just quietly have whatever he drinks, maybe a nice bourbon, and look at his pelt on the wall, and he got the ear of the owner and he won the power struggle. But you should now all eyes are on you. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. And it's funny too, like, this is why I like Bills fans a lot. I don't think many Bills fans wanted Sean McDermott fired. I think a lot of them were blaming Brandon Beane for not giving Sean McDermott and Josh Allen a better team.
Well,
because they did.
Sean McDermott wanted Keon Coleman, not Brandon Beane.
That's what they said.
Keon Coleman. And by the way, I don't watch the Bills every week, but I got the feeling, it's the coaching staff that sat that kid down, not Brandon Beane. So what are we talking about here?
Yeah, I know. Well, there was I think a Bills fan found this. Do you remember the Hard Knocks in season with the Giants? There's like a clip from the Bills. I tried to
forget it, but yes.
Yeah, but there's a clip with the Bills that Brandon Beane may be a liar.
I think you could take maybe out of that, but
yeah, I know. I'm just trying to be nice here, but I remember he found. I'm like, oh my god, that's right. They did talk about Keon Coleman in that. Yeah, I'm like you, John. I try to forget about that Hard Knocks.
Yeah,
probably the best Hard Knocks of all time, but
I didn't watch much. I unplugged from Hard Knocks a long time ago. Like I like everybody else, was enamored when it first came on because there was so little behind the scenes stuff.
Now
And
we
it
get it
was
all the time.
it was very cool. But now it's very formulaic. It's the same thing. And teams have gotten savvy to like, we don't want this out there. So, and the Giants only amped that up. Once Joe Shane got portrayed the way Joe Shane got portrayed, which was unfair. I'm sorry. It was unfair. I mean, they edited that.
That's a TV show. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, they had that one clip of him talking like, Saquon was, and he was like, well, what if, and then that's what GMs do. Like, if you heard Howie talk about your favorite players, well, what if we did this with insert name? And you have these discussions all the time. Now imagine they cut out the what if and they just talk about trading your favorite player, how that's going to go over like a lead balloon. That's what they did to Joe Shane.
But and that's the power of television. They can do that. And that's why I would never agree to be on something.
Now,
like
that doesn't mean he's a good GM, because he's not. But, I mean, he was completely misrepresented by that one clip that still goes around.
Speaking of the access stuff now we get on social media, John, don't you hate when they do the whole Victory Monday and they show the locker room stuff? Like, if you want to celebrate like with your team, go join an actual team and do that.
Well, that's become a thing in social media. The winning locker, they never show the losing locker.
Yeah, I can tell you the losing locker room is worse.
Yeah, it doesn't look the same.
Yeah,
no doubt.
I mean, I like to see players throw their helmets in the locker, and I know that happens.
Yeah, I mean, guys get upset when they lose, especially big games and big. I'd rather have somebody upset when they lose than somebody that doesn't give a shit. I'll tell you that.
True. And there's both of them exist, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
I get it when I bowled. Like, if I don't execute well in the tournament, so you got bad attitude. I say, I'm not bad attitude. I'm not offending you. I'm just mad because I didn't do well.
Jeff's bowling comp. I love it. Good comp.
All right, Jeff, give me let's bring it back to the OC thing. Give me a timeline. Is it going to end this week? I got a feeling it's going to end this week.
I do too. Like, it's definitely going to end before the Super Bowl. I feel like they're going to come to a decision at some point. There's probably a guy or two they still want to interview.
Come to it.
It will come to it. It won't be as late as Kevin Patullo
was. We don't even know who they interviewed. That frustrates me that the Eagles don't put that, but whatever. But I mean, all of a sudden it's out there that they talked to Arthur Smith. Well, was that a real interview? Was that like a Mike McDaniel interview?
I don't know what I would do without Diana Rossini right now. She's the one getting all this, most of the reports.
Yeah. So we don't even know if that was a real interview. But I do think people should be cautious. They think like Bobby Slowick turned down the Eagles because he got to Miami. Like, no.
No, that's not how it works.
Now,
first of all, you have to be offered a job to turn down the job.
Yeah, exactly. But now there are certain guys, for whatever reason, like I said, everybody in this league was interested in Mike McDaniel. And I do think guys with options have clearly indicated that this is probably not the place they want to be. But it's a unique setup compared to where everybody else, and it's proven to be successful. So is that the worst thing in the world that they're taking their time?
I mean, if I'm a Declan Doyle, right, you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, if I take this job and I resurrect this offense, I'm going to be a head coach next year.
Oh, you're going to be, he's going to be a head coach at what, 31?
At 30. Yeah, he'll be as young as McVay.
Yeah,
Mike McDonald, third youngest head coach to make Super Bowl, by the way.
Or get fired and go back to a position coach for the next 3 years.
Yeah, but he's got time. He's only, he's 20.
Yeah, he's young.
He'll be 30. He's got time to rebuild.
I'm not saying he doesn't have time. I'm just saying how he looks at it is he probably doesn't want to go through that hiccup.
My intriguing question this offseason is going to linger for a while. Who is going to take the Cleveland Browns head coaching job?
Mhm.
That's
It's
a
going to
good
be
question.
it's going to be one of the young guys, Nate Shieldhouse or Grant Udinsky.
You really think Udinsky would leave Jacksonville for that?
I wouldn't, but wait,
Yeah.
go back to Declan real quick. What gives him a better chance to be a head coach? Staying with the Chicago Bears or coming to be the OC in Philly?
I think coming to be the OC in Philly just
Yeah,
because
OC in Philly
I
you'll
by
get
a
your opportunity
million
to call
miles.
plays.
Because with Ben Johnson, you always be Ben does it.
How many coaches have been hired there that were with Sean McVay or with Kyle Shanahan?
A lot.
Well, that's true, but not that quickly. So he'll have to wait.
Oh yeah, I mean 2 years there. Well, he'll be the hottest candidate. He'll be declining $20 million offers like Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I think it's longer than 2 years. And plus, I don't think it's I don't think Ben Johnson's Kyle Shanahan either. So
No. What do we think about Matt Nagy? Do we like him?
yeah, I like him.
I like him.
I don't
too.
know why everybody shits on him. I mean, what is he?
No, I mean, I don't think. I think when you look at the resume and you look at the years of experience. I mean, John rightfully points out he took the Chicago Bears to the playoffs twice with Mitch Trubisky. I mean, they have a playoff win with Mitch Trubisky, and that team sucked before he was there, and they sucked after he left. So, I mean, I think Matt Nagy's done some decent things. It's funny how certain
they didn't win in the playoffs, but they made the playoffs.
They didn't win a game.
Yeah.
I thought they won a game.
No, he was coach of the double doink game.
Yeah,
it's funny how the NFL community latches on to ripping certain people more than other people. It's like,
this is my favorite. Why does everybody hate Andy Reid assistants? Like the last time I checked, Andy Reid has a very successful coaching tree. What are we doing here?
well, I think that it is weird because in Andy's case, I think everybody stems up. Well, that's Andy, and that they're Andy does it all. But when you have other guys who do it all, like Kyle or Sean McVay, then it's like anybody who's ever had a cup of coffee gets an interview with anybody who's ever had a cup of coffee with Sean McVay gets an interview. Anybody. There's talk
Kevin O'Connell.
There's talk that Mike LaFleur might be the Cardinals coach out of nowhere.
That's nuts. Well, no one wants that job either.
Yeah, well, all the jobs left. Nobody wants.
Gannon going to the Packers. He's going to be.
I love that move for the Packers. Yeah, I think it's a great hire.
Yeah, Jonathan's going to look good as long as Micah comes back.
By the way, the Packers, man, they really look toward the Eagles pipeline there. They're like, Christian Parker, okay, we can get him. Let's see if we can get Gannon.
Well, I think the Cowboys and Packers were battling between Christian Parker and Jonathan Gannon. I think the Cowboys made their decision first, and then Gannon landed in Green Bay.
How will he deploy Micah? Will he get the same criticisms as that he got here with dropping into coverage and stuff like that? Well,
I think Micah's going to have 20 sacks with this guy. I mean, look what
Hassan Reddick. Look at Hassan Reddick. Yeah. No, well, I was, to that point, because I talked to Jonathan about that a lot. Hassan Reddick had never dropped less that season than ever.
It was only like 5% or something like that.
In his entire career, he had never dropped into coverage less. People are idiots.
Well, duh.
He had never dropped. Now, his first season, he was an off-ball linebacker, so he dropped in Arizona his first couple of seasons, really. So he's dropped into coverage a lot. But any time since they moved him to edge and sort of rescued his career last season in Arizona, he had never dropped less than that 2022 season in Philadelphia. And everybody lose their mind every time he dropped. So, yes, he will drop occasionally, but no, his vast majority will be getting 20 sacks.
I'll never get the hate for Jonathan Gannon. I just won't. And everybody says about the Super Bowl and he's thinking about his next venture. I'm like, well, first off, most people do that. Second off, those interviews were happening regardless. Third, he was not the sole reason you lost the Super Bowl. Your special teams was probably worse than your defense that game. And heaven forbid,
boss, that was a terrible decision. Oh boy, I forget who was the punter. They brought in the veteran punter when Aaron Cepas got hurt. Why can't
Yeah, who was the
Brett
veteran?
Kern? Brett.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Brent Kern. That's right, from the Titans. Yep.
who was not great, but end of his career. But he knew how to punt. He'd been doing it since before the
Forever.
Kennedy administration. So he had been around for a long time. And the Eagles felt this loyalty to Aaron Cepas, who broke his leg, I believe, late in the season against the Giants. I remember he did it on the sidelines. I forget the exact injury, but
wasn't he trying to make a tackle or something?
Yeah. And he was out, and he was working his ass off to get back. And you had the extra time because he made it to the Super Bowl, and they felt a loyalty to Aaron Cepas, and they let him kick in the Super Bowl instead of Brett Kern. I guarantee one thing: he would have kicked the ball the right way, right, Kerr?
Yep.
And
when you kick the ball the other
coverage.
direction, that's going to mess everything up, and it makes Michael Clay look terrible. And look, that special teams unit was pretty good that year, from what I remember, but they were not good in that Super Bowl.
And you know who makes those roster decisions?
Oh, I wonder, John, who was it?
That is Howie Roseman.
It's a shame. They wasted an all-time great performance from Jalen Hurts and the offense in that Super Bowl.
That was probably the best game I've ever seen Jalen Hurts play. That Super Bowl.
I think it's the best game I've seen the offense, but I think Eagles offense still has the record for the most points scored in a Super Bowl loss.
Is that right?
Yeah, that was Jalen. I don't know if it was his best game, but it was certainly his best playoff game.
He made some throws in that game.
He's had some great games in the regular season.
I'm not saying he has some great games. I just mean for the moment. I mean, that throw to Goddard on the right sideline. I mean, where he put it up here, Goddard went up and got it. It was toe tipping that on. I think it was a 3rd and long. I mean, there are some throws in that game that I can still visualize in my head.
The touchdown to AJ to start the second quarter, that was right in front of where we were.
That was
all
more
sitting.
great by AJ, who had great body control to go and get that ball. But still, I mean, you're right. There's a ton of great plays in that game.
Yeah, but it's so funny, Zander. Like, I remember at halftime it was 17-7. I'm like, they should be up more. They should be up more, and they're not. And
is that what it was at halftime? 17-7?
Oh no, I think it was 24-14. I think I got that mixed up.
Yeah, because the fumble.
Yeah, 24-14. Yeah,
the fumble happened, which was a costly fumble.
Yeah, the game would have been over without the fumble, which I get. Yeah. Well, and that was an unforced error, but it doesn't take away that he was the best player on the field that day.
Yeah, but you also have to add in it definitely had a factor, the fumble. There's no doubt.
Well, of course.
Yeah. My favorite going into last year's Super Bowl was, and I was joking with some of the defensive players about this during the media days. I was like, so how about that Superdome field? They're like, oh yeah, it's going to be more even now. They were like smiling when they said it's going to be more even now. We're not going to have the turf god doing our field this year.
Like, the turf guy. Yeah,
I think that was like just like their way of joking.
Godfather, is that what it was? The Sodfather?
Godfather. Was he doing it? Whatever was that his last year? I forget.
He retired after that game.
The Sodfather. Yeah, who cares? They both played on the same damn field.
That was my when going into that game, I said, well, the Chiefs' offensive line will be the best offensive unit the Eagles' defensive line will face all year, but the Eagles' defensive line is also the best defensive line the Chiefs are going to face all year, and the Chiefs ended up winning.
People obsess what they want to obsess on because the Eagles had 70 sacks that season. The assumption was that they had better footing; they would have gotten, 10 sacks. I don't think the sod had anything to do with blowing coverages late in the game.
This is how I always handle it. You've heard of Orlando Brown. You've heard of Joe Thuney. You've heard of Creed Humphrey. You've heard of Trey Smith. There's your answer.
Yeah, they had a good offensive line. Yeah,
they did.
About it. And the Chiefs were a good team, but the Eagles were better. The Eagles were the better team. I used to have that argument with Jody all the time. And Jody's well, they won the game, so they're better. I'm like, come on. There's upsets all the time. fluky plays. The Eagles, and that's why it's a disappointing loss. The Eagles were the better team in that football game, but you got to finish it. Doesn't matter. Seattle's the better team going into Super Bowl 60. Doesn't mean they're going to win, but they're the better team.
Yeah.
And by the way, they're favored by 5, the early line, Seahawks.
I thought that was low, by the way. I thought it was going to be 7.
Yeah, 7's big. 6 wouldn't surprise me. It might go up to 6. But they're the better team. But we're going to play the game because sometimes the better team doesn't win.
Sure.
As the Eagles learned. I mean, look,
Yeah.
the Patriots were the better team than the 17 Eagles.
I wonder who the
Eagles
Eagles
won.
fans want to win. Do they want Darnold and the Seahawks to win? Do they want the AFC team to win? I know they got a
I got
history.
a kick out of my buddy Elliot. I'll give him a shout out. Elliot Shore Parks from WIP did a rooting guide for the weekend. And I laughed out. I laughed out loud. His surmission on you should vote for the Rams because if Darnold wins in all of the offseason list, he'll be ahead of Jalen Hurts.
Isn't he already ahead of him?
I laughed out loud. I forget the New England Denver. I forget what the pick was there.
All right. So the Seahawks are going. Is Darnold better than Jalen?
Depends what offense you're playing. As with everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Are we putting Sam Darnold in the Eagles offense? I don't know if he'd do well in it.
No.
Well, no. You're putting them in whatever offense is better for them. Like you always say, John, you got to build the offense around your players.
Well, and that's what, by the way,
traded hypothetically for Sam Darnold, which would never happen. But if they did, they wouldn't run the same offense.
No, they wouldn't. So for the Eagles,
I'm just saying. So I don't like using the exercise. What offense are they in? They're in their offense. Who's better?
Well, who had a better season this year? Yeah, Sam had a better.
No, that's not what I asked. Who's better?
I'm making you go because it's not a zero-sum question. So again, I'm not going to accept the premise. I mean, it's you're exactly right. We're getting to a point where people are starting to understand if they traded the 2 quarterbacks, if you have good coaches, and presumably they both have good coaches, although the Eagles don't have one, you're building a different offense around a different style of quarterback. Seattle would do the same thing. And they wouldn't trade. So yeah, I mean, people can have the argument, and that's for other people to have. I don't accept people's flawed premises. It's not a zero-sum question.
Yeah, once the Seahawks won last night, by the way, speaking of Darnold, once they won last night, I went back to like my early, and I'm talking like June or July, like I thought were moves of the all season. I couldn't stand Gerard Mayo with a passion. I thought he was a terrible football coach. The second the Patriots fired Gerard Mayo, I said that they already won the offseason. And then the Seahawks traded Geno Smith, and I'm like, well, that's another win because Geno Smith stinks. There's so many Geno Smith truthers out there. I'll never understand them. And then they got Sam Darnold to replace him.
But I think
he stinks.
Geno.
I think he stinks.
Won a lot of games.
He also throws a lot of interceptions.
Well, so does Sam.
Teams.
I
think Sam's a better player, though.
Well, so do I, but the most interesting part, here's the interesting part of the Seahawks win for the Eagles from an Eagles perspective, because the Eagles are very ball security conscious, very risk averse to the point of maybe going too far. And the Seahawks have made the Super Bowl. I believe Sam led the league in interceptions or turnovers. They're very close to it.
Let me look this up.
And they made the Super Bowl. So there are other ways to do things. Now, nobody turns it over a ton anymore. You don't have you can't go with Jameis Winston level of turnovers.
Sam was third in the league in interceptions.
Well, add in the fumbles. He's a strip sack guy. I think he's at the top, 1 or 2.
Yeah, he's up there. Yeah, Geno Smith led the league in interceptions again.
How many did he have? I bet you it was under 20.
Who, Gino or Sam?
Yeah, Gino.
Gino had 17.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the worst case scenario, 17. Yeah, I mean, there are other ways that you don't have to be that risk averse.
Yeah, so Sam had 20 turnovers in the regular season, if you count the fumbles lost.
Yeah, so that's how many interceptions?
14. But
14.
in the postseason, how many does he have?
I don't know.
0.
Oh, the big goose egg. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Well, they got very conservative because he was turning it over too much. He had 4 in one game. That's the thing about Sam, though. He had 5, I think, in that one Rams game.
Yeah, he had 5 in the first. That was the game they lost to the Rams. He was terrible. Yeah. And we had the question: is he a pumpkin again?
So that's 25% of his total turnovers is one game. So there's so much context to football that people don't want to.
Well, like the first game of the season he played against the Niners, I'm like, okay, Sam Darnold's way better than this. This is probably just, okay, this is my first game with this team. And then he kind of balled out till that Rams game that you mentioned.
Yeah. So, I mean, that to me is the most interesting part. Do you need to be as risk averse as you are for the Eagles? It's an interesting question.
I don't think I bought the Seahawks. It's funny because I thought they were going to be good this year. I don't think I bought them as a Super Bowl team until they beat the Rams in Week 15. I'm like, okay, I think this might be the team.
Yeah, I didn't look at them as a Super Bowl team. I still think the Rams are the better team, but they didn't win.
Remember, the Rams blew that game in Week 15. They probably cost themselves the chance to host that NFC Championship game.
Oh, yeah. There were a lot of Sean McVay game management miscues along the way. But let me hire his lieutenant. He might get 2. Shieldhouse might get the Browns job, and LaFleur might get the Cardinals job. Keep an eye on him.
Clint Kubiak should be getting a head coaching job. I don't think he's going to get one because they're going to be too deep in the year. Yeah. Oh,
nobody wants to coach Eagles offense. That's just what I'm on. Until I'm proven otherwise, nobody wants to coach his fucking offense.
Here's another crazy Seahawks thing, by the way. When is the last time they lost a playoff game at Lumen Field?
I have no idea.
That is a tough place to play, man.
I'm telling you, I think the only time they lost it was the Crabtree game. Oh, no, they won that game. I'm going to look this up.
You got the Beastquake game. Yeah.
Boy, you guys think the Minnesota Vikings are kicking themselves today, man?
Oh, yes.
Well, I've been on board. That is the worst.
All year they have, but it's like it like never ends, John.
You have no idea. Not only did they pass up on Sam Darnold, they didn't get Daniel Jones. They didn't get Aaron Rodgers. All in the name of J.J. McCarthy. I've said, at least in the modern era, so I'll go from this century, 2000 plus, it is the worst single personnel decision.
All right, you ready, John?
Ever remember from an NFL team.
You ready for this? The Seahawks have never lost a playoff game at Lumen Field where there has been a crowd.
So they lost in the COVID.
They lost the COVID year.
Yeah. I guess
that is insane.
The placards of fans didn't have the same effect. Yeah, it is a tough. That place is loud, man. Yeah. It's interesting that we all talk about domes are loud, and they are. Some of the domes are very loud, but the loudest places are Seattle and Kansas City.
They were loud when it was the Kingdom too. So this wasn't like it was a revolutionary thing.
Well, they're angry people. That is the first time when I turned on that game. That is the first time I think I've ever seen the sun in Seattle on a field.
Yeah, you're right. It's always like it's either a night game or it's windy or rainy.
Yeah, I'm serious. I don't think I've ever seen the sun, and it was out. Everything was upside down. Everywhere else in the country was miserable, and it was the nicest day ever in Seattle.
They're a different breed up there.
Yeah, they're weirdos up there.
I do agree with Eagles fans. Like That's it. There's no way the Eagles are going to Seattle beating that team. I'm like, well, I could have told you that no matter who the head coach or quarterback or anybody on this team was, because they never go into Seattle and beat them. They can't beat them with Drew Lock's the quarterback.
Very, very tough place to play. They should have won that game. Jalen and AJ went off script. They went rogue, as they say.
Wasn't Jalen sick that night? Didn't he have the flu?
I don't know, probably. He tends to talk about his injuries and colds after the fact.
I can't believe he's the spokesman for the Sprite commercials.
For who? The
For
Sprite.
Sprite. The Sprite
For
commercial. But I'm like, Jalen has like no personality.
Yeah,
And he's like in a Sprite
He
commercial.
doesn't
You're
even
actually
have
right.
the commercial either.
Boy,
He's
that-
acting. He still doesn't have it.
That's Sprite commercial. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, Brett, come on, Jalen. Come on. Bring some energy. I thought AJ did a good job in the Geico commercial.
Oh, AJ's great in that
the
commercial.
Geico commercial.
Yeah.
He's
I
great
laugh
in
at that one. Saquon's good in the ones he's in too. The Old Spice one, I really
I
like.
still love AJ Brown. I gotta be. I still.
Oh,
love
I do
AJ.
too. I think AJ Brown he's got a
I
personality.
like
I would
that
love to
he's
see.
a complex dude. I like that he. I like his. I don't know. I just like him.
I still kind of laugh at the interessence stuff. It is interactions, whatever. It's still funny to me.
Yeah. Saquon said
get a
so
kick-
much.
I
There
get
was a
kick out of the
point.
season ending and I'm jumping on social media again. I just find the whole thing funny.
There was a point with Saquon where like every day I got a new email about a new product that he was behind.
Yeah.
God bless
Oh
him.
my gosh. Last season was crazy.
Yeah,
It was
you know,
so-
I would love to just be AJ Brown a day and just tweet or retweet something. He's probably like, man, how many people do you think are going to try to decode this today?
Oh, we got a new name, Frank
Oh,
Smith. Frank
Fucking
Smith.
Frank Smith.
I know who Frank Smith is. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
All right, well, I don't. Sounds like my local neighbor up the street who put the two most common names together, Frank Smith.
All right, I'm going to give you the agent spin on Frank Smith. I'm going to tell you about Frank Smith.
Besides the fact that he was the Dolphins' offensive
Frank
coordinator?
Smith.
He was the Dolphins' offensive coordinator, which means nothing because Mike McDaniel was the offensive coordinator. However,
He did work with Nick. I thought he did.
in a 2023 NFLPA player survey, he was voted the NFL's top offensive coordinator. Thanks to Frank Smith's agent for that. There you go.
Wasn't
Frank
he a line
Smith.
coach? Wasn't
Frank
he a line
Smith.
coach? He was with Peyton, right?
Frank,
Let's see. I'm looking
Let me
up
look
his
him up.
history. Here we go.
the big
Hey,
bad
he's an
Philadelphia
it's
Eagles.
interesting, you know. See, here's another example. Yeah, his background is offensive line. So he was with the Saints. That was his first NFL job, assistant offensive line coach. Then he was the tight ends coach in Chicago. Then he went to Oakland / Las Vegas over this when they moved.
So he was
Tight
with
ends
Gruden.
coach. Tight ends coach. 2021, he was the Chargers run game coordinator and offensive line coach. And since then, he's been Miami's offensive coordinator. So he's another guy. That's with Clayton Adams, who the Cowboys blocked, is their offensive coordinator. He's an offensive line guy. Those two interviews, they didn't get to talk to Clayton. That's probably when they talked to Frank. They want to figure out what the hell went wrong with their running game. That's my take on that. I don't know.
That's kind of where I am. That's called you're casting the wide net, and you're trying to get input from people around the league.
Exactly. I don't think just by the looks of it, and again, no information. Just by the looks of it, this seems one is I wrote yesterday on Sports Illustrated. This has turned into a two-pronged thing. Obviously, they're looking for an offensive coordinator, but the second part is they're on a fact-finding mission to figure out what the fuck went wrong with their offense. And they want to talk to all these people about it and pick their brains. And it's clear when you get two offensive line, you got blocked by one. They don't want these guys to be the play caller. They want to figure out what's going on with.
That's what you
What
legally
does
get
what
to
does that
do in
mean then,
interviews.
John? What find out what and then do what with that information? Like what do you mean? What are you trying to get at with what they're doing?
Well, you pick part. Think about Miami and being involved in that running game. Everybody, what the Miami running game? The Miami. It's so inventive. You want to talk to somebody involved in it deeply.
All right.
And say what.
And the Dolphins' offensive line was a little bit better this year.
Frank Smith, Jim Bob Cooter. It doesn't matter what name we bring into the mix. The questions still remain the same. What quarterback is Jalen Hurts going to be? Is he going to be a dual threat, or is he done being a dual threat? And will they have the ability to run their offense, or are they building on the Nick Sirianni offense? If it's the latter,
well, that's that magic question. I mean, can they build on it?
It doesn't matter. You can bring up whatever name you want. I mean, it does. It really doesn't matter. Those are the two questions that we need answers to. And we might not get them until.
I want to run the Nick Sirianni offense that they're hell-bent on this. Phillip Rivers. Let's let him be the offense coordinator.
How was Phillip Rivers? He's exact opposite of. He's.
I know. That's what I said. Let's go crazy. But Nick was been for years.
He's handled things at the line of scrimmage, and, do you think Jalen's capable of doing that?
I don't
know. That's not an insult, by the way, people. I don't think there's many.
No.
There's many quarterbacks in this league that can handle it.
Also, it's not an insult that Jalen Hurts has had 13 different play callers in 11 seasons since high school. That's actually a benefit. Ask Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, a lot of that's what I mean. I'm done using that excuse. That's not a good excuse.
It's not even an excuse.
You have another new coordinator, so let's just have you play like shit all year. That's the reason. Sorry, I'm not buying that crap anymore. And that's not.
By the way, did you see Baker taking shots at Kevin Stefanski?
Yeah, that was funny. That was probably the funnier. And you know why it went unnoticed for a while? Because that was the day Keon Coleman was catching strays.
Yeah. I'm not a Baker
he's
fan.
Kind of right. I mean, I'm not saying Baker.
I'm not a Baker fan at all.
Baker doesn't win enough for me to be doing this.
I mean, think about it.
He is too much. He is too much of a hothead to be my quarterback. That's not even the right
bring
word.
Cleveland to the playoffs, no, and then they discarded him like he
wasn't.
They acted like he was another list of the names where they had the jerseys of 30 freaking names on him, and none of them did shit there. He did more there. Then they trade for or get rid of him for Deshaun Watson, and they haven't done shit since. I mean,
people can play that revisionist game. There's nobody in the world at that time in that moment that thought Baker Mayfield was better than Deshaun.
But you have to understand how that player would feel a certain way about it. I mean, come on.
If I was in that Tampa front office right now, if I'm in that Tampa,
go ahead,
guys. Yeah, if I was in the Tampa front office right now, I would tell Baker Mayfield, dude, we just lost a division where the team we just lost the worst division in football. Can you shut up?
Yeah, I need my quarterback to shut up. That's basically it. Now, I know that's not fair, but I can't have somebody who's going to go up like he's AJ Brown playing quarterback. I can't have it. Robert De Niro in Goodfellas. I can't have it. I mean, there's a certain level of responsibility and leadership that is demanded from that position, rightly or wrongly. And I can't have some guy going off the handle of playing quarterback. And I'll tell you what, if you are, you better be MVP level for 17 games, not 5 games, like his agent said. Or who was that? The Josh Grizzard agents.
Josh Grizzard.
He had Baker playing at MVP level for 5 games.
Did the Eagles interview Josh Grizzard, by the way? Did I miss that one?
I thought they were linked to him.
Yeah. Josh is on the list. Josh Grizzard. I don't think he's an exciting member of that list. No. As is Frank Smith.
If you talk to X, no one's an exciting. This is such a bad pool. I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean it's a bad pool? Who did you want to be the offensive coordinator?
Yeah, who's a good pool? Who's a good pull and why? Fans have to ask themselves.
Again,
that.
the question is the same regardless of the candidate. I mean, what is Jalen and what is the offense? Those are the questions for me. At least that's my question.
Well, I think there's two ways it can go. You can try to evolve what you do right now, or you can try to revamp the whole thing and try, because a lot of people, it's like I've compared it to Chip Kelly and Jeffrey Lurie's sentiment, which I'm not a fan of because I think it was his worst decision as an owner. His explanation for moving off Howie and giving everything to Chip was, well, I have to see what I have. So if you want to use that mentality and say, hey, I want to hire, I can't get Mike McDaniel, so I'm going to hire Mike LaFleur, or I'm going to hire a Kubiak, and I'm going to play this style of offense and see what we have and if Jalen Hurts can do it. You can go that route, or you can go, we know what we have, and let's try to maximize it with the best option. Personally, I would be trying to do the latter. I get why people are frustrated and sick of it because it's not the most exciting or creative or all those words that they want type of offense. But I would try to maximize what I have with Jalen Hurts as long as I have Jalen Hurts. And if I don't want to play that way, I got to
change. People don't want that anymore.
Well, then move off the quarterback.
I'm saying, though, we used to talk about that. All right, maximize Jalen while you have him. It's going to be a shorter shelf life. That was understood early. Well, now that the shelf life seems to be maybe coming toward an end, people want to change the way we play. People want to set it up for longer.
Number one would be draft the quarterback and see if you can get something going in a different direction. You know, you're not going to trade for Joe Burrow. You're not going to trade for, I don't know, go sign Sam Darnold after he wins the Super Bowl.
We're heading into year 4 of this contract, by the way, right?
What would you trade for Burrow? Jalen and 2 1s?
At least. My only concern with Joe Burrow is obviously the injuries. A little bit of concern there. But yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would mortgage the future for Joe Burrow, but that's, you know, I think very highly of Joe Burrow as a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure Joe Burrow.
I'll tell you what, though, kind of a weirdo too. I'll say that he's kind of a weirdo. So, you know,
he is a weirdo.
He's a major.
We're not even sure Joe Burrow wants to play football anymore.
He's a way bigger weirdo than Jalen is, in my opinion.
Well, that's some of the things. I mean, that's where Dom earns his money. You got to get all the background and what the hell's going on there.
Yeah, right.
I don't even think Jalen's a weirdo. I just think
I don't either. That's not the right word for Jalen.
It's weird to describe him, but you know, it's just different. It's not wrong with that.
I agree. I don't think weirdo is the right word for Jalen.
I think Joe Burrow's a weirdo. I'm with you on that.
I think Jalen is too concerned with how he's perceived in not the football world, like
outside the football world,
like for endorsements and you know, like he wants to be Michael Jordan. It's like, dude,
but you gotta have a personality to be Michael Jordan.
Well, he didn't have much of a personality either, but
Mike kind of did.
I don't know. Did he?
Yeah, I thought he did.
When I think Michael Jordan, I don't think personality.
Mike didn't have to have a personality. Mike dominated.
Well, Mike's one of the all-time great. Yeah,
that's what I mean. His game spoke for itself. He didn't need to have a personality. He was. But Mike
opened up. But Mike did open up. You know, he did do a lot of the No Marcus commercials, or he did a lot of the McDonald's commercials. He did a lot of the Nike stuff, and then he somehow did Space Jam. You know,
man, Mike was crazy though. Like what? People are it's still one of the number one purchased shoes in America, in the world.
People are buying old Jordans.
The very first Jordan, not even Jordan. The very first Jordan, the Jordan 1. I mean, everybody it's like Mike changed. Mike was different. It's not a good comp. But
it was Bo Jackson, then it was Michael Jordan. Those were the two I thought.
I don't think either had personalities, but that's not the point. He can have the same personality. He's never going to be Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's the biggest star of the world at his height. From
Well,
a
he can't be
sports
Michael Jordan. He
perspective.
lost the championship game.
There you
I mean,
go,
I had to
Jeff.
do it. I had to do it.
I love it. Jeff, you're a Jordan as the GOAT guy. I think
Oh my God, yeah.
one of the most surprising takes from John, just from what I know about John.
People. First of all, history exists past where someone was born. Number one.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, Will can easily be the GOAT, by the way. Like, I'm not.
And I'm not saying Will is. I always say if you're in the conversation.
I'm talking more like the LeBron Jordan debate. Forget. I get there's a bunch of other guys who deserve to be in the conversation, but society has dumbed it down to those two, which is wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, they play different positions, and LeBron people, they really get in their fields if you mention anybody's better than him.
All right. Well, Jordan is better than LeBron.
I've always described it as similar to, because everything is contextual. There's never been a more well-rounded basketball player than LeBron James.
Correct.
You know, when people talk about greatest of all time, they want the most championships, and then it's Bill Russell. So it ain't Michael Jordan, it's Bill Russell.
Yeah, it's Bill Russell, who won every year, essentially.
And some people talk about dominance, then it's Will Chamberlain. You know, it depends on your definition. But if you're in the conversation,
and LeBron is,
that's fine. That's in the conversation. What I describe him, he to Jeff's point of they play different positions. Well, occasionally, but LeBron can play any position.
Yeah, that's true.
Literally.
Magic Johnson can play any position. Yeah. We've seen him do it.
So I mean, there's never been a more well-rounded basketball player. That's my description of LeBron James.
Even over Magic?
Yeah. Well, he's better than Magic. Magic was just as well-rounded, but Magic can play defense the way LeBron could.
I think my favorite defense of LeBron is when I hear people say he doesn't have the killer instinct. I'm like, okay, that guy was trash shooting threes when he was younger. He was trash shooting jumpers. And now he's like way above average at both. So I don't know where people get that.
Well, Magic was a terrible shooter, and he ended his career 90% from the line. You talk about a work ethic.
Carmelo was like that too. He was like 50% when he started.
Well, Carl was always bad, but Magic.
But he got better.
He got better, but Magic was great at free throws at one point. And he was terrible when he got to the league. So yeah, that's always, what defines all greatness is not only obviously you're born with the God-given ability to get to that level, but then you also have the work ethic, which I don't know
if anybody put in the work ethic like Kobe Bryant did. That guy was insane.
A lot of people, as gifted as they are, all these people we're talking about, do not work as hard because things comes easy for them. So when you match up the tremendous work ethic with the unbelievable, that's where you get the special players, the really special players. You're muted, Zander.
Yeah, you're muted, Zander. We hear you talking. Well, we hear you.
Well, I see you talking.
Your lips moving. Yeah, we see your lips moving.
Yeah, so that's I don't know. Maybe he's having problems on this.
Oh, how about now? You got me now?
Yeah. Now we got you.
I got this great story though, John, in line with what you were just saying. I completely agree. I forget the guy's name. Who's this? The one guy who's big on social media now. Who's a football player. He's him and his wife. I think it's a coach or COCH. I don't know how to say his name. It's Isaiah Rochelle. That's what it is.
Oh, so okay.
He's a defensive end. He was traveling around with Myles Garrett when he was on their team, and it was the middle of the off season. And Myles Garrett invites all the edge rushers to work out, and they're all flying on Myles Garrett's private jet. And he's telling the story. Everybody's obviously drinking. They're having fun. They're going out at night. Myles Garrett's turning. Doesn't want to do any of it. He's just along for the ride.
I don't even think Myles Garrett drinks.
In the middle of the off season, don't you want to have some fun? And he's like, I don't want to have. No, I'm good. I'm not drinking. I'm not doing anything.
Well, that's like AJ. That's like AJ here.
I got to work in the morning.
Yeah.
I got to grind. I got to be great. And he tells this story. He tells it much better than I told it. But, it reminded me, though, John, of what you said. When you have a guy with amazing God-given abilities and then you match it with the relentless, work ethic, that's when you get rare greatness.
Well, there is a sort of a saying around the NFL draft that you'll hear around the NFL when it comes in, as we get into the draft process, and we'll start to get into the draft process heavier, obviously, when the Eagles actually decide who their offensive coordinator is going to be. But in the NFL, it's become, there are no perfect prospects. Remember that, except Myles Garrett. That's what everybody says.
That is one pick the Browns got right.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to get that one wrong. He's just, yeah. And you hear the Eagles, when the Browns, it's one of my favorite times of the year when the Browns come in for joint practices, and they've done it a few times over the years. You get to see Myles Garrett. It's just unbelievable.
Are like the two people excited to see Myles Garrett.
No, we're not the only two. Everybody's
I know. There are a lot of people are, but it's like you and I just go like, oh, okay, yeah, let's just watch everything Myles Garrett does.
It's unbelievable. I can't even explain to people the difference between him and some really good players like Jordan Mailata. It's like they're in a different world. And unfortunately, his career is being wasted. News: Grant Udinski has informed the Browns that he's removing himself from consideration.
Man, am I shocked.
Right on cue, Jeff.
By the way, which means, to translate that, means he knows he's not getting the job. So that's why he's withdrawing. New deal in place with Jacksonville that would bump his pay, but the Jags are allowing him to continue pursuing the Bills head coaching job. By the way,
I take the Bills job.
This is the first time. That means Nate Shieldhouse, I think, is going to get the Browns job.
That's what it sounds like, doesn't it? If you're trying to connect the dots here.
Yeah. But, it's the first time this has happened throughout the league, like with McDaniel, with Dayball, now with Udinski, with Flores. This mentality, he's coming back if he doesn't get another head coach. Never heard that before. Now it's all over the place. That's
it's like the way. My favorite is poor Anthony Lynn. How many people are going to interview Anthony Lynn for a certain compliance?
Rooney Rule. Yeah.
By the way, his son, hell of a coach.
Yeah.
Anton.
Yeah. Where's he? USC?
He just got the Penn State defense coordinator job.
But was he at USC?
He was at USC, and he did a great job with them.
Yeah. You're all hyped up. You're all Penn Stated up for Anthony
Rocco
Lynch.
Beck, baby. I'm all fired up. I was so excited when
Did they get a quarterback in the transfer portal?
They did. They got Rocco Beck. They got Anthony Beck's son.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. They got a couple quarterbacks.
All right. We'll see. I'm sure Penn State will be a top 10 level team.
I call them the Penn State Cyclones.
Boy, there's so much. I can't keep up with so much upheaval.
There's a lot.
Football. It's ridiculous. It's something's got to change. I don't have the answers, but something's got to change.
I don't either. Like it's weird. Like, but I gotta say this, since the last time I was on, the national championship game wasn't played, and am I happy for Kurt Signetti? That guy can coach, man. He always could.
Yeah, it's amazing.
James Madison.
It's just an amazing story, Jeff. The whole
IUP,
thing.
16-0. 16-0.
IUP, John. He coached at Indiana University of Pennsylvania just 10 years ago.
So did Nick Sirianni.
Yes, he did.
And then he left Indiana. I mean, it's amazing. But all right, Jeff, we got to run.
By the way, when is the last time? Zander, you should know this. When is the last time an SEC team has won the national championship?
3 years ago?
21?
Or is it 4?
Well, Michigan, Ohio State, Indiana. So the last 3 are Big Ten.
Big Ten. Why is it the Big Ten better than the SEC at this point?
Because it just means more in the SEC, right, Zander?
Oh, it's better football, but I hear you. I mean, the Big Ten.
I mean, you got to win one.
Zander, did you want the playoffs expanded?
Yeah, absolutely. I did.
Like, where would you go?
I think
16,
it's better now.
24?
It's a better product now, you know?
No,
I
I mean, not outside the 12. I love the 12, but do you want to expand it more like the Big Ten and SEC one?
I think they could do maybe like, I wouldn't go to 24. I think that's
I wouldn't either.
I think 16 would probably be your top if you go to 16. Or like the NFL has what, 14 teams?
Yeah.
I don't think that'd be a bad move.
But I like the 12. Like,
the only thing I don't like right
okay
now is I think there's a little too many. Like, do too many people have a bye week? I know you have to with 12 teams, but that's where if you went to 14,
yeah,
the top 2 bye weeks, does that change it a little bit? I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't mind 12 if you took the 12 best teams, but you know, I got a problem with some bullshit teams being in there.
I agree.
I think, you know.
Well, you know, they changed it again. Like, if you win the Power 4 conference, no matter what, you're in.
I think
so. Like, Duke would have gotten in this year.
I think there are 2 teams that weren't even in it that could have been the national champions. Because I think at the end of the season, Texas and Notre Dame were playing better than anybody.
They were.
They weren't even in it.
I had an argument for Notre Dame to be in. I didn't think they should have gotten in because they did lose to Miami, and that's what the call was. But yeah, if you take the 12 best, I agree with John. But the rules are the rules, and that's how you got Tulane and James Madison.
I don't think the greatest coach in the history of the world was beating Texas. How about that?
Signetti?
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Or I don't think the greatest coach in the history of the world was beating Jeremiah Love if he got in there. How about that?
Jeremiah Love's a stud, man.
Oh,
what a player.
I'm taking that kid in the top 10.
I can't wait till Kansas City gets him.
I don't know who's going to get him, but man, he's a good. But you know what? I hope it's a good team because obviously a shitty team is not prepared to take advantage.
I still say Ashton Gianti is a better running back than what he showed this year.
Yeah, shitty teams should not take running backs. But if there's a good team, even a team on the cusp of breaking through from, you know, sort of 500, nobody's 500 now with the stupid 17 games, but say 8-9 win team, he'll get you over the top. That kid will get you over the top. He is tremendous. But, you know, if you're a 2-win team, I wouldn't recommend ever taking a running back, even if that running back is Walter Payton. I wouldn't recommend taking a running back.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still annoyed by this time of year. Like, I know a big topic was, I'll bring back Sean Payton here. How if you win a Super Bowl at one spot, you don't win at the next spot. Like, do people realize how hard it is to even get to a Super Bowl?
No, they don't.
That's why I hate that stupid debate. And I remember, like, I saw a couple tweets were worded wrong. I said, well, no one that's ever won a Super Bowl at their second stop. And I'm like, no, teams have won Super Bowls at their second stop. Andy Reid did.
Yeah.
Like, you're wording it wrong.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't win one here. But, you know, look, I say it all the time. You know, people just want to be right. You know,
yeah,
so
it's unfortunate. Sean Payton's a hell of a coach. He's not, I don't like him as a person, but he's a hell of a coach.
Like, think about every NFC or AFC championship game ever. Those aren't big games. Divisional round. Those aren't big games. Any playoff.
They're big games. That's the Elite Eight. That's what you want. That's how I look at it. That's the Elite Eight.
So you talk about, well, Andy Reid here couldn't win the big one. Couldn't win the big one. Like, those aren't big games, winning all those playoff games.
Yeah. You got a winning playoff record here in Philly.
Yeah, it's just silly. And,
like,
and you'll see the same thing with Sam. If Sam doesn't play well in the Super Bowl, well, Sam, what is the term? Turned into a pumpkin. Sam turned him. He's in the fucking Super Bowl.
And he didn't play like a freaking pumpkin yesterday, did he? He played damn good yesterday.
No, but it doesn't matter again unless you finish.
Yeah. Like, this is why I defend.
It used to be Sam, and when big games come, he goes to pumpkin. Now, doesn't mean
Cinderella turns into a pumpkin.
Super Bowl,
yep.
But as far as I'm concerned, he's corrected the narrative that when any big game comes, that's over now because he played well and
but just to use him as an example, because that was all rooted in him being a bust as the 3rd overall pick from the Jets. And his career obviously did not go as planned early in his career. He literally never played in a big game till last season.
It's true.
Yeah.
So where that everything about the mentality
On his 4th team, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, he was on a bad team with the Jets. He was on a bad team in Carolina, and he actually made them a little bit better than they were. Then he was a backup in San Francisco. Then he got lucky, and he only was starting in Minnesota, by the way, because
McCarthy
got Herz, which turned out to be lucky for Minnesota in a one-season perspective, and he didn't play well.
The last 2 games of the year.
And
they made their decision off that, which was kind of goofy.
Which was, in my opinion, the worst personnel decision in the century, literally. And then he's in Seattle and he wins 14 games again. And now he's not only in the NFC Championship game, he wins it. He's an NFC champion. And he's in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, it was all rooted, and he was the number 3 overall pick, and he was a bust, and everybody wrote him off, all those people that did, which is fine, because it's rare where somebody turns it around after, well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons. And I didn't know. I just had a hunch after learning with Sam Darnold that this guy could play, after learning under Kyle Shanahan. And if he got an opportunity, I thought he'd take advantage of it. He got an opportunity. He took advantage of it.
That's what you want to see, right?
Nonsense of him coming up small in big games. Well, yeah, he played poorly at the end of last season when he was under siege because the offensive line was so shitty. Who plays well when the offensive line is giving up 9 sacks?
I people go, well, Kurt Warner played well in big games. I'm like, Kurt Warner had Hall of Fame talent on the offensive line, at running back, at receiver. It's had a Hall of Fame head coach, Dick Vermeil. Like, it's a perfect storm. Sam Darnold didn't have that. I don't think Kevin O'Connell was a Hall of Fame head coach. I could be wrong in 10 years, but
he thinks he is.
Yeah. But that's why I probably defend Donovan McNabb as much as I do. Because Donovan McNabb has more playoff wins than Matthew Stafford, Josh Allen, Drew Brees. Like,
no, Donovan was very good, but
yeah, he was. But Eagles fans make him look like he's the spawn of Satan. Like, I don't get it. Yeah. Man, that guy brought you a lot of winning football.
I think Nick Sirianni talks about that when he's talking about big games. It's like, everybody plays in big games along the way. It might not be a big game to you. Like Iowa State, he was talking about Cooper. That's a big game for Cooper.
Yeah. Yeah.
May not be a big game to you, but
I think every football game is a big game.
Yeah.
There's so few of them.
But certainly every playoff game is. I mean, if you're in the playoffs and you it's tough to win playoff games in this league. So anyway.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Nick Foles, look what he did in 2
We're
playoffs.
at the end, man. I didn't even realize time's cooking. We got to run. All right, man. Thank you for joining in today. Make sure you guys follow him at Jeff Kerr PHL. By the way, man, congrats covering the Phillies this year for 97.3.
Oh, yeah, 97.3. Phillies.
And Mike, our guy, Mike. Yeah, it's going to be awesome to listen to you on there, Jeff. We appreciate you joining, brother.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Got a lot of content coming, a lot of podcasts, so we're excited.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you, Jeff.
All right, thanks,
see you guys.
Later, there's Jeff Kerr joining us right here. All right, John, what's on the agenda today for the Eagles team, man? I know nothing is on the actual agenda, but it feels like we need some updates from this football team, John, as we move deeper into the offseason, week 3 now.
Well, I think you're going to get some clarity by the end of this week, I would say, is my time frame, but we'll see. I mean, the Frank Smith indication is, they really wanted to talk about this running game with people, and I don't blame them, by the way. I consider that a good sign because I think of all the issues, that was the biggest issue, and there were a lot of them on the offensive side of the football. But the biggest one to me was the fact that they couldn't run the football, and they could always run the football previously. Forget about Saquon Barkley. They ran the football well with Miles Sanders. They ran the football well with DeAndre Swift every year in the Nick Sirianni era until this season. And what went wrong? Is it just the attrition of the offensive line? Is it just that guys were not healthy? or is it something more than that? So that kind of explains Clayton Adams, Frank Smith, wanting to talk to those guys. And we'll see if any of these higher profile names, the Joe Brady's, the Cliff Kingsbury's, pop up at the end of this search. Otherwise, the group that has been leaked to this point doesn't excite many people, seemingly, I would say. Who's your favorite, Zander?
Well, for the OC, I mean, I think I don't think it's as much. I don't know. Maybe you've broken me, John, on coaching a little bit. I think it matters. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but I think I'm more focused on other questions. The names right now, do they change the offense? Do they fit with the team? I hope it's not an echo chamber, John. That's what I hope. I hope they get somebody that I'm not asking them to change what they are or who they are because they've been successful. But I hope somebody brings a sense of, pushback that's positive in a way that pushes them to be better versions of themselves, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, and I think that's why they want outside voices, and they're talking to outside voices because they don't want to hear it from the people in the building because they couldn't fix it. They want to hear it from outside voices. And that, to me, is the Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman part of it. They want to hear those outside voices and figure out if it was just a simple blip in the radar because of attrition, because of guys having down years, or was it more than that? Was it a systemic issue? So I think, number one, they're trying to figure that out. And then I think that clarifies which way you want to go. And if it goes the way of completely different, then I think you're going to have some growing pains with that. So people got to be careful what they wish for.
Yeah, we will find out what ends up happening. John, you expecting any news today?
I don't expect him to hire anybody today. If Frank Smith gets,
I don't get why you don't think he can just come out of the blue. The Eagles have hired boom, boom, boom.
Well, it's always. I think ultimately it's going to come out of the blue. But I think when they're still talking to people like Frank Smith, I don't think that today is the day.
Yeah,
Frank, out of the blue.
Big Frank.
I'll tell you what, if Frank gets the job, I will be shocked. I will be shocked because that to me speaks of what I said. That to me is all right. They want to talk to smart people who understand the run game and try to, shape that into their thinking. And it, for a guy like Frank Smith, it elevates his standing in the league. Oh, he's getting interviewed for an offensive coordinator job. So, it's a give and take.
All right, John. Good stuff, brother. Appreciate you doing it today. Your final thought here on Birds 365.
Boy, I can't wait for spring. That's my final thought.
You got to deal with that weather outside. At least you don't have to drive down to the NovaCare complex today. At least you can, I'm sure you can.
I saw somebody tweet that I'll never forgive one of those things. I'll never forgive poor KP, Kevin Patullo, because the Eagles would have won in this weather. And I said to myself, I've never liked KP more that I didn't have to drive in this shit. So if he's the one to blame, thanks, KP.
There you go.
They would have canceled the game anyway in this era. They would have said, "Oh my God," they would have played it on Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah. All right, John. Good show, man. I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, brother.
All right. See y'all. Thanks.
All right. Mac. There's Johnny Mac, John McMullen joining us right here on Birds 365. Good show today. Appreciate everybody being here this morning. Don't forget to hit that like button. All right. Frank Smith. I mean, you got to be kidding me. I know John's being a lot nicer about this OC search than I feel the need to be. I see Denise is still crying in the chat. Denise, you're not still crying in the chat. Right? Denise, you can't possibly still be crying in the chat weeks later. All right. You can't possibly be crying, still caping in the chat. Holy moly. Frank Smith The legend of Frank Smith has just started. The first time most of you have heard the name, not literally because it's the most common name. I mean, it's like if you had AI make a name. Hey, make a common American name. Frank Smith. Perfect. Yeah, it's like John Doe. It's like John Doe, Hollywood. The first time you've heard of Frank Smith, the football guy, is today. The legend might have started right now, folks. Remember this moment because we could be talking about a lot of Frank Smith in the future. Or Declan Doyle. Declan Doyle and Frank Smith are here to save the Philadelphia Eagles. And save Denise's crying. Denise, don't cry, please. Oh, I forgot to get to the super. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Pump. Sorry, Charles. Stop this Matt Nagy propaganda. Sorry, panel. If they hire that bum, we're storming the NovaCare. MF made the best QB in the NFL look minuscule. I don't know if it was him that did that, man. I think it was they have no talent around them. Here's Pumper again. Hertz. Who wants me? Fellas, no one wants to coach our QB. Pumper, the more that this OC search goes on, the more Brian Pumper will be giving you all a dose of his medicine. Not me. It's you guys he's giving the medicine to. I don't need the Pumper medicine. Here's Menifee. We've seen Jalen and Nick work well when we have a good play caller. I think that should be the number one goal, not necessarily a new offense, in my opinion. That's fair. So you don't think Petula was a good play caller? No, you don't think Petula was a good play caller? All right. Here's Philly Don. Philly Don, what's up, brother? Hope you're doing well, man. He says, are we really going to end up with someone at the bottom of the barrel? Is this job really that under? Yes, Philly Don, it is. And don't let anybody lie to you, Philly Don. A lot of people are lying out there saying that's not what it is. That's exactly what it is. Nobody wants to coach this fucking offense. 1, the head coach. 2, the quarterback. 3, the owner and how he scapegoats people after one single year. Nobody wants to come. What offense does the quarterback want to run? Am I allowed to run them? Am I allowed to run an RPO? Am I allowed to do this offense? Am I allowed to change anything? Is he going to be miserable if I do something? The coach, am I allowed to run my own offense? Is the coach going to be breathing down my neck? Is he a stiff? Does he know what he's doing? The city, are they going to be egging my house if nobody is successful, if the players drop a pass, if the quarterback misses a throw? The owner, am I going to get fired in a year if it's not my fault, but he blames it on me because I'm the easiest scapegoat? This is a brutal job right now. Nobody wants to admit it. It's the truth. No, this is a brutal job. This is a brutal job. In a world where only 32 of these jobs exist, this still figured out how to be a brutal job. I think people would rather be the second figure to Ben Johnson. Why would Declan Doyle come here at 31 years old? Why? So he can be like Brian Johnson and get relegated back to a quarterback coach? Brian Johnson should be an OC. Brian Johnson could potentially be up for a head coaching job at this point. But no, he came here. He coached a top 10 offense in pro football, the number 8 overall offense. They needed a scapegoat because they didn't reach expectations. They fired Brian Johnson, and he hasn't been elevated since. He's back to being what's he? Still a assistant to the head coach in Washington. It's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. Why would a young, great coach with a bright future want to come to Philly? I would look at Brian Johnson and say, fuck that. Why would I do that? I'd rather be the OC for a couple more years somewhere else. Or I'd rather be a position coach somewhere else for a couple more years. Kellen Moore, people love to use Kellen Moore. Well, Kellen came here and got a head coaching job. First off, Kellen didn't get a head coaching job only because of what he did in Philly. He had multiple number 1 offenses in Dallas, all right, and he was up for a head coaching job, all right. Also, they didn't even run his offense for him to get a head coaching job. In fact, they had to tell him, we can't run your offense anymore. We're benching your offense. And then Saquon ran for historic numbers, and he got a head coaching job. If Saquon doesn't run for historic numbers, all right, which is hard to do, he's probably fired too. He's probably fired too. Probably get fired too. It's a shit job. This is a shit job. This is an absolute shit job. Nobody will tell you that. I'll tell you. It's a shit job. I mean, there's not a lot of redeemable traits right now. Here's No Limit. He buys the propaganda. Easy. Easy money. It's boom or it's bust. No Limit. No Limit. That's it. I don't know if you figured it out yet. The story of this entire era of the Eagles, it's boom or bust. They'll have a game where they're the best offense in football in one half, and then they have 17 yards and a half or -2 yards and a half. Okay? They have a 23 season where they win 10 out of our first 11 games, and then they have a historic collapse. They go from 23 historic collapse to 24 ultimate Super Bowl victory. Everything about this team is fucking boom or bust. Everything about this team is boom or bust. It could fall off at any moment. Could win it all at any moment too. But people with families and lives and shit, you know, boom or bust is good, but it's also scary. You know, you don't want to boom or what if it bust? You know, I move my kids across the country, move my wife across the country, put them in a new school. I get it. It's part of their profession, but doesn't mean it doesn't factor into their decision making. Yeah, well, guess what? They're in the Super Bowl. I don't think they give a rat's ass what their strength of schedule was. Here's R. Gravy. Zander, that's categorically false. Don't be stubborn. That's not what I said, dude. I said he had pedigree coming into Philly. Brian Johnson didn't, so he's scapegoated and sent back to the rafters. Kellen Moore did have pedigree because of what he did in Dallas. Not so much L.A. You're right about L.A. But why did he get fired from L.A.? Because his coach, Brandon Staley, was a fucking stiff. And he didn't get hired here or hired to the Saints because of some groundbreaking offense he brought the Philadelphia Eagles. Saquon Barkley ran for 2,500 yards. They benched his offense, Gravy. They ran it for 4 weeks. It didn't work. Turned the ball over 7 times. Come on. That's fair, TR. I'm not. All right, you're getting more out of it, boom or bust. I'm just saying why people don't want to coach here. You know, it's not the most enticing OC position. Steve, are you a Patriots fan? Yeah, Steve, if I were you, I would tell anybody who's talking about your schedule to kiss it where the sun don't shine. Who the fuck gives a rat's ass? Their team's on the couch, your team's in the Super Bowl. Talk about my schedule all you want. I don't give a shit. Any given Sunday, you got one more game, 60 minutes. Go play 60. Seahawks are hot right now, though, man. Seahawks are red hot right now. It's a good team, man. By the way, that Kenneth Walker dude, I mean, I knew he was a good player, but what a fucking beast. What a great player to have in big moments. I mean, that dude runs hard. Hard, fast, physical. I mean, that's a good player, Kenneth Walker, that running back. Very good player. Here's Menifee. Who the fuck hires an unexperienced OC for a Super Bowl team? We set ourselves up for this shit. Charles, a team where nobody wants to go and work. Although it was late in the process. Remember that. Christian Gonzalez is definitely going to be good, no doubt. I'm not a huge believer in Dart yet either, Brian. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a huge believer in Dart. I think he's good, but the thing I don't like about Dart is a lot of his, and Jalen was similar with this too, but a little different. Dart seems to be like a lot of it is like these magical plays, and it's like, dude, you can't live forever on magic. Like that's with Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams has tons of great talent. Caleb, if you want to win consistently, you're not going to win like you won this year consistently. You're not going to win these cardiac fourth quarter comebacks forever. You're not going to win these crazy throws off schedule on fourth down that you make a big – they're nice. It's good to have in your toolbox. But it's not how you win consistently in the league. And that's how I feel about Dart. I don't know what Dart's going to be. What happens when Dart can't run as fast? What happens when Dart, gets the shit beat out of him by a nasty defensive line? Can you make the throws? Can you do what you need? I don't know yet. I haven't seen that from Dart. I don't really think Dart is all that polished when it comes to outside of the off-schedule stuff. So we'll see. We'll see. But Zander, we interviewing no, there's no way. The Texans quarterback coach? No way. That can't be true. That can't be true. That guy, the guy who's coaching CJ Stroud, who looks like a fucking stiff, I think the Texans I think they should trade him. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. That defense is so good. Get rid of CJ Stroud. He's costing that team. We're interviewing CJ Stroud's quarterback coach. No way. No way. Gerard Johnson? Oh, good. That's it. You know what? Good hire, Eagles. That's a good one. Make sure you look deep at what he's doing with CJ Stroud to make him the massive stiff. Guy went from like the rookie of the year to like literally maybe one of the worst quarterbacks in pro football. He's like not even a top 20 quarterback right now, the way he's playing. He's horrid. He is horrid. CJ Stroud is awful to watch. He's awful to watch. He's awful the way he plays. Really adds nothing to that team. Oh, here we go. Not fair. Oh, bullshit. Bullshit, dude. CJ Stroud looked like dog shit. He looked like dog shit. Special K, how about fucking both of them? What do you mean? The player stinks, and that defense is amazing. It's costing the team. And the coach who coached the shitty player, yes, should not be elevated. What's hard to understand, Special K? What do you mean? Yeah, I don't want anything to do with any of them. I don't want anything to do with the player, and I certainly don't want anything to do with the coach who was coaching him. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Sheesh, the chat. Yeah, we are miserable. Nobody wants to coach in Philly, dude. I know, but again, that doesn't mean I want to go out and hire his quarterback coach. What's that? Special K, you think that's a good reason to go, oh, man, well, the players sucked, so this coach didn't help him at all. Maybe that coach will be good. It still doesn't add up. I get what you're saying, but it doesn't add up. Some of you have been shoveling snow all morning, and it shows. Yeah, Gary, I got some shoveling to do. I'm tired, Gary. I've been sitting on this desktop for fucking 48 hours. For 48 hours. We will see what happens. We will see what happens. The Texans quarterback coach is an insane. Gerard Johnson. He spent one season in 2020 with Nick Sirianni on Indy's staff. Oh, man. Yeah, CJ Stroud, who literally looked like an objective bum. Let's bring him in. Yeah, that's true, Theo. It's a good call by you. That the Makita I showed you, the snow thrower. Agreed, man. You had to get out there early before the what's it called came. Zander, the Eagles are smart, bro. They're giving you all these shit names so the Cooter announcement will seem glorious. That's the truth right there. That's the comment of the day. They're hoodwinking us, man. They are hoodwinking us. Eduardo's always asking me these deep questions. Eduardo, dude, if I had a good answer to that, then maybe I'd be working in the Eagles front office. Out of all the interviews so far, who would you hire and why? All right, well, I'd hire whatever dude's going to look the coach, the quarterback, the GM, and the owner in the face and say, you guys aren't always right. Let's do it this way. Let's try this. I don't know. Who knows, dude? Don't hire a lackey, as Theo Bear would call it. But we might end up with a lackey anyway. I could see a catch. Wouldn't surprise me. Charlie turned us down as well, Xander. He's staying with Lane, a college person, doesn't want the OC job. Yeah, why would he want the OC job? You know, let me make the first time I go to be an NFL coach out of the I'm not asking for Gruden. I never even mentioned his name. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, first time coach in the NFL. Let me go coach that Eagles offense. Yeah, Brian, I think it has something to do with it for sure. I think it has something to do with it. I mean, you know, one of the reasons that you take a job, right, is great playmakers, Brian. That's what everybody says. Oh, how could nobody want this job with all the playmakers? Well, Brian, if you think about it, is the running back's best days behind him? Is the quarterback's best days behind him? Is he going to run anymore? Is he still a dual threat? Is A.J. Brown want to be here? Is Dallas Goedert going to be gone? Is the offensive line still good? You know what I mean? Like, think about it. It's definitely a thing, I think. Crickets with me. Oh, my God. What is up with – can I ask a Phil? Like, what is up with the psychology of some people who act like, dude, I don't cover the fucking Patriots. We talked about the game for 20 minutes on the show today. More than that with Jeff Kerr. What do you need me to do? Do you want me to dedicate a 3-hour program to how bad Drake May played so that you feel better about your boyfriend, Jalen? Is that what you want? So you feel better about your boyfriend? Crickets from May. Imagine if that was Jalen. Dude, you're like a woman. Sorry to any women in the chat. Fly Eagles Fly, Kim, Bird Gang Girl, Kirsten, Izzy B. Any other women we have listening? Not meant to be a shot, but, you know, you guys have a propensity to complain. I mean, dedicate a show to Drake May so that I feel better. Wild Bear. So that I feel better about the criticisms of Jalen Hurts. Dude, shut the fuck up. Seriously, shut the fuck up. You sound like a dumbass. All right? You don't need everybody to validate you. I mean, what a dumbass comment, Green Gobbly, or whatever the hell your name is. Oh, gosh. That makes me want to get out of here. I mean, come on. And here's No Limit, still fucking crying. His playoff run was trash. He had 2 shit games. Are you talking about last year? It wasn't trash last year. They were talking about this year. 1 shit game this year. 23 was atrocious. Well, wait. You want to do No Limit? Don't make me do it. If you want me, don't make me do it, No Limit, because I'll do it. I'll give you the truth bomb if you want it. I'll give you the truth bomb. Dude, we shit on Drake May. We said he hasn't played good at all. What are you talking about? We did call it the same. It's never enough for you people. Don't you get it, Green Gobbly? It's never enough for you nerds. It's never enough. Here's Pump. Xander, I think it's sad these Jalenites watch an 86-yard performance and immediately think about their Messiah. This is all the evidence we need. That's true. Dude, don't make me go through every single playoff game. Please, please don't make me go through every playoff game. All right? Don't make me go through every playoff game. Oh, look at tea time like a cis pot. Another cis pot. Say how you truly feel. What do you mean how I truly feel? I tell you how I truly feel every fucking day. This is a fire and ice program. It's a fire and ice football team. It's a fire and ice quarterback, tea time. You know what that means? Fire and ice analysis, my friend. Fire and ice, baby. One day he looks like a fucking MVP. One day we got -2 yards in the half. You tell me, tea time. You tell me. It's like unbelievable. Then say it. Say what? You act like I have something on the tip of my tongue that I don't want to say. There's nothing on the tip of my tongue. If you want me to run through the Jalen Hurts' playoff games, no limit, I'll do it. Because he's been a starter for 5 years. 3 of the years of the 5 playoff games, he played like complete and utter shit in the opening round. Complete and utter shit. That doesn't mean that he didn't have good games in the other 2 runs. That's not to say I'm not saying that. But if you want to be honest about the situation, right? 3 playoff games, complete shit. What happened in 23 wild card in Tampa? What happened in 21, which I don't criticize him as much for. That was his first year in the playoffs. I'm okay with that. Still played like shit, but I'm all right with that. Versus Tom Brady, I get it. Tough spot in Tampa on the road with who? Devontae Smith and Jalen Reagor. I'm all right with that. 23, trash. 25, trash. 22, how good was his run in 22 in terms of his personal play? I mean, the Super Bowl was the best game I've ever seen him play. No doubt about that. The 22 Super Bowl was the best game I've ever seen Jalen Hurts play, in my opinion. He made throws in that game that literally were unbelievable. But I remember the NFC Championship game that year. Brock Purdy got knocked out. I mean, they beat a team that was depleted completely. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, Josh Johnson were throwing the football. Doesn't mean he didn't play good, but it wasn't like this MVP performance that was necessary. I think we played the Giants. Did we play the Giants in that playoff run? Right? The divisional was who? Was it the divisional, the Vikings that year? Who was the divisional round? 22 Eagles playoff run. Let's look it up. Yeah, they beat the Giants. No, yeah, they beat the Giants 38-7. I mean, Hertz had 154 in that game. Stats don't tell the full story. I get it. But, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Jalen Hurts, like, put the team on his back. I think it was the first attempt. Remember he had a touchdown, like, the first throw of the game? Yeah, he was good in the game, though. 16-24 for 154 and 2 tutties. We also had 268 yards on the ground, 112 from Kenny Gainwell and 90 from Miles Sanders. So I'm just saying, I don't think there's like this. Again, it's not taken away from the truth. I mean, there's not this like long, elongated, insane level of playoff success. He's had 2 incredible Super Bowls. It is what it is, what it is. Apparently, we're getting another big state. Is that right? Some dude just tagged me that they're it's not real, but that they're hiring my Jason Garrett. Not personal. All good, brother. I'm just telling you why I'm not going to sit up here and spend 2 hours bashing Drake May. I've already said he hasn't played well this playoffs, turning the ball over like a fucking madman, not doing a whole lot of anything to give his team an advantage, but they're in the Super Bowl. You know, you can also hold the same opinion that way, right? Jalen got to the Super Bowl in 22 with, 280 yards of rushing from Kenny and Miles. And playing against a depleted Niner team. I don't take away credit from Jalen for that. You're taking it away from Drake May, though. Can go both ways. Here's Pump. See, I think it's funny we got a lot of dudes in here who say that they are not Jalenites, proceed to defend him like his lover. Oh, no, I don't have a problem with people liking Jalen Hurts. I really don't. I mean, the dude's, after all, been very successful in Philadelphia. It's boom or bust, but it's been very successful. He's had a lot of great success. I have no problem with people liking him. I really don't. But it's, those people are inevitably going to be upset when you look at, all right, I have a job. My job is to talk about the Eagles every day. The Eagles didn't have a good year this year. They didn't live up to expectation. They got bounced. If you're going to talk about why that is, the quarterback's going to be a part of that conversation. They're not going to like it. It is what it is. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing to be a fan of Jalen. I got no problem with that. It's the delusional people that we talk to. It's the delusional people. There's a lot of delusional fans. I get why people like him, though. I've never denied that. I get completely. Wow, I am seeing snow next weekend. Does it say how much? Whoa, 11 to 13 inches. Well, they were wrong this time. It was. Remember when they were like 18 inches? It wasn't 18 inches. Did anybody get 18 inches? Nobody got 18 inches. Mike says, Jalen Hurts' 2 Super Bowl appearances are great. What exactly are you talking about, Zay? Well, that's what I'm saying, Mike. I'm saying that people think he's been amazing in every single game. He hasn't. But 3 good games is good. I just said that. It's exactly what I said. I'm not going to take away credit from him, but he hasn't been like this Superman. You got 10? $14? Damn. I don't think I got that. I mean, we definitely got some snow, but I don't think I got that much. You got a lot of snow. No diddy. Yeah, but that's porn brain right there. That's corn brain. All you goobers with the corn brains. Get off. You know the Stephen A. or the Stephen A. Smith, get off the weed. The Zander Krause says, get off the corn. Get off the corn. A little sleet, nice, Kyle. Sleet sucks. All right, I'm out of here. Good show today, guys. Good show. I'm excited to show some of you guys it. Appreciate all you for being here. Maybe we'll be live later today. Maybe with an offensive coordinator. Maybe it'll be Gerard Johnson coaching CJ Stroud into obscurity. Appreciate it. Gary, it's banging. Gary, I might pick up a second. Make a duel. The problem is I don't have a camera, so I have to I'm still using the iMac, but whatever, we'll see. I know, Catch, the back is killing me, bro. Gotta drive the legs. Gotta get low. Gotta drive the legs. All right, love all you guys, man. Appreciate it. See you next time, everybody.
EAGLES Eagles.